But I think the development of full artificial intelligence would spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody's checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
Won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51, alien kept deep under the ground.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and this is the show where we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. We do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And what are those things? You know, aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. This show is live. It's Monday night. We are streaming on Facebook, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. That's a digital radio station. What's up, Joe Roop, Ryan Gable, everybody else out there? Thanks for letting us be a part of this. Lots of great people we're getting to meet, and lots of great people are finding us, and it's been a very good thing. We started Fringe in January of this year, somewhere in the middle of the month, and it's been many months of good stuff. And so that's what we do. The reason we do, I do all that good stuff and tell you what we're doing because we're reading chat in all those places. We're reading chat on all the places I talked about, and we're taking your phone calls as well. So we are reading chat on, again, like I said, Facebook, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope, and also the Discords. If you guys have not joined the Discord, please do. Discord is a chat client. It is a voice client. It is a fantastic program. Best of all, it's free. And it works better than a telephone, meaning that you could use it for like free worldwide sort of long distance type calls, the beauty of the internet. But the quality of the calls are 3 times what a regular phone can do. So you get to hear people's voice in crystal clarity, and it's amazing. Did I mention it's free? Go to troubledminds.org and click the Discord link. You can join. It'll give you a direct invite and get you right in there. And you can also join the Discord room. They're different chat rooms, but it's the same program. So you're not downloading 2 different programs. And if you already have Discord, you can find the Fringe Discord at fringe.fm/chat. That will give you a direct invite and put you right into the Discord, so you can come say hi to everybody. The conversations go on in the Discord approximately 24 hours a day. There's usually somebody awake and kind of chatting it up or sharing links or all kinds of other stuff. So if you're into community and great people, that's where you need to be. All right, so as we say that and do that and get ready here, I did not mention that we have an open phone line as well. If you want to be part of the show, you can give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037, and we'll put you on the show. It's as simple as that. And, of course, this show is more of a conversation. It's less of like the old school variety talk show because, well, we talk about weird things first off, and then next, well, we it's sort of a two-way thing. So this is how it works. I'll bring the topic, which tonight, by the way, is time travel. Hell yeah, it's been a while since we've done a time travel show. And then you guys call in and tell me what you think. So the questions tonight, we're going to start with some questions, and then we'll get to some of the information that I've brought for the evening. But the questions tonight are this. So first off, do you think time travel is real and possible? All right. So some people believe that time travel is currently happening. So one theory about aliens and that whole bit is that it's possible that the aliens are us from the future, time traveling back to see ourselves in particular areas when things are, kind of like a field trip for the future us. And other people believe that time travel, well, scientifically is impossible for a variety of reasons. So that's the first question tonight as we get going is, do you think time travel is possible, number one? And number two, the second question that's on my mind tonight, if you could suspend your disbelief that time travel may not be real, if you had one trip somewhere to do something and one trip back time travel wise, where would you go? What would you do? And why? And that's what's on my mind tonight. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. Everybody, all the heroes out there, the would-be heroes that want to punch Nazis and stuff, they say, go back and I'd kill baby Hitler, right? Well, that doesn't sound so noble to me because you're still murdering a baby. But you know what I'm saying. I'm not advocating murdering anybody. I just, it's funny that when you kind of throw out a question like that, that's one of the tropes, as it were. Go back and kill baby Hitler. Not really like people are serious, clearly. It's more like a thought experiment. And that's kind of what we're doing tonight. That's what we do many times on this show, is kind of a thought experiment of let our minds wander a little bit and take us out of the doldrum of the day-to-day tax-paying drudgery. Don't get me started on taxes. But okay, so that's an inside joke, by the way, if you're brand new to the show. The two things you don't bring up, because I'll get triggered, and I say triggered tongue-in-cheek because I don't really get triggered, but taxes and healthcare. That's how you rile me up. How about that? Okay, so anyway, as we continue, those are the questions tonight. So do you think time travel is possible? And if you don't, or you do, that's fine. Like I said, this is a non-denominational show, and you can believe whatever you want to believe. I'm not here with an agenda to try and start with the premise of you don't believe time travel is real, and by the time I'm done tonight, I'm going to convince you. I don't care. You believe it or you don't. It's all good. It's all good. That's what this is all about. So we're going to get together and kind of just give ourselves a little bit of range imagination-wise and kind of stretch our legs that way. So that's what's up. Okay, so one more time, if you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. You already have the questions. And, of course, if you could take one trip somewhere in time and then one trip back, and that's all you had, where would you go? What would you do? And why? And there you go. All right. So what made me want to do a show about time travel today? Well, there's a lot of things, right? Recently, we're not going to get into the details of this in particular, but recently Google actually says that they've found and invented actual time crystals, which of course is it's a very complex, I don't know. It's difficult to explain. So difficult, we kind of don't even know what the uses for them would be yet, but they're saying that quantum computing wise, it could change everything. It could change everything. So anyway, so that's one thing, right? So that's kind of been on my mind for time travel. And I was thinking we should do a time travel show just because of that, because it's pretty sweet. What's up, Jay Winch says, 16-year-old me would tell myself to quit doing dumb stuff. Buy Google, Tesla, Bitcoin, save all my money. I can live poor and drop 10K minimum as soon as the stock drops. Yeah, there you go. There you go, right? All the dumb stuff that we should have been doing when we were young and didn't do. There you go. So that's what's on my mind tonight. Where would you go? What would you do? And why? All right. So now time travel wise. Now this was interesting because not only is the time travel kind of back in the news with the Google time crystals, which, like I said, is kind of a little more technical. I didn't really come prepared to talk about that. But there are, like the old days of YouTube, like several years back, if you guys remember, there was a YouTube channel. I don't know if it's still going. I haven't checked because, well, cringe. But not fringe.fm, cringe, Apex TV was, we actually talked about time travel with Apex TV quite a lot in the early days of Troubled Minds because it was going viral like every day. Every day, some new time traveler, what would you say? Claim some new time traveler claim from the past or from the future or what have you, right? So we used to talk about time travelers quite a bit, but we haven't because that I think that page has dissolved, or at least they stopped putting forward time travel content. And so if you remember, there was an individual on Apex TV by the name of Noah the Time Traveler. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's totally cool because it's just kind of an intro to the story tonight. But they used to do all kinds of stuff, right? And they'd blur the guy's face and he'd sit there and they'd ask him, how he was back in time and what he was here to do. And he had, all kinds of stories about the government and, right, all kinds of stuff. What's up, Daggerspell says Apex is still around. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. And it is kind of facepalm type stuff, right? Like, the guy that actually was the actor of Noah the Time Traveler was a guy that goes by the name Dennis, actually. And so they blur his face and they do all kinds of stuff, and right, and he'd tell fantastical stories about how he was back from the future because actually I think his story was they banished him because he broke the rules. It's been years since I listened to any of that drivel, but it was funny to sit there because it would go viral like twice, 3 times a week. These quote time travel stories were going viral, and me and Frank, the old co-host of the show, were just shaking our heads, going, "Are you kidding me? Again? Like here we are, like trying to put forth a good, thoughtful, entertaining show that gives you real information about the world we live in, and stretch our imaginations a little bit." And we're running into a brick wall. Nobody's seeing us, and these clowns are out there putting out fake stories about time travel and just going viral every damn day, getting picked up by radio stations, doing radio interviews as Noah the Time Traveler, all kinds of goofy stuff, right? It's like that. And so, like I said, this is just kind of the backstory to what brings us to tonight. Now, so like I said, we haven't talked about time travelers in this capacity for quite some time now because I think maybe definitely the guy that was playing Noah the Time Traveler, he quit Apex TV. I don't know what happened, but he did come out and admit that it was him and he was acting and it was all fake. It was like, oh, well, no kidding. No kidding. Well, who knew? But anyway, like I said, his name is Dennis and he's got a Twitter account and now he's got his own YouTube channel. And back in the day when he actually said, I stopped working with Apex TV, he didn't say why. But they always blurred his face, so you couldn't really tell right exactly who it was. So maybe that's not even the guy. I have no idea. But he says it was him, and he says he was just acting. And he as far as I'm aware, he never elaborated on why he quit doing time travel videos with Apex TV. So anyway, I was kind of looking at stuff, and that, like I said, the Google time crystals is one, but there's other stuff going down, right? Sometimes you hear me make fun of like the TikTok witches and the things that are going on TikTok. Well, check this out. This is pretty hot, as you would imagine, right? Because, well, yeah, it's not quite Apex TV hot, but here we go. Newsweek.com reports this. Yep, that's right. This is from Newsweek, guys. Newsweek. All right, just in case you didn't hear what I said. Now here is the headline. Viral TikTok time traveler shows creepy images from the future. From the future. All right. Creepy images from the future. All right. Here we go. Let's read just a little bit of this article so you can see where my head's at tonight. So, like I said, it's a little more fun to kind of speculate on if time travel were real and you had two trips, one there and one back. What would you do? Where would you go, and why? Right? Those are the questions on my mind tonight. So here we go. Right from this Newsweek article, by the way, about a TikTok time traveler. Wink, wink. Here we go. A user on TikTok has gone viral after claiming to be a time traveler from just 6 years in the future. The alleged time traveler goes by the username Unico Sobreviviente and only provides his first name, Javier. Hello, Javier. According to Unilad, Javier's username translates to only survivor. A Google translation of his bio, which is written in Spanish, reads, "My name is Javier, and I am alone in the world." Javier's first video, posted in February of 2021, like I told you, the time travelers are back, depicts scenes throughout the city of Valencia, Spain, that look relatively normal, except for one fact. The city appears to be completely void of people. In the video, which has been viewed over 7 million times, he claims to be a time traveler from the year 2027. He says that by then, humanity will have gone extinct. Nothing like a little doomsday in your Cheerios for breakfast. 2027, humanity extinct. Well, if that won't get your attention, well, maybe nothing will. Or maybe you'll just facepalm and go back to whatever you were actually having for breakfast. Anyway, a translation of the text within the video describes the eerie scene, quote, "Nobody in shopping malls. Nobody on the streets." In a video posted soon after, he adds, "I keep trying to find human life. I'm starting to lose hope." The city scenes Javier depicts in his video look unremarkable, aside from the lack of people. Clothing stores are filled with neatly stacked items for sale, cars are parked along clean city streets, and buildings appear to be in good condition. The account has accumulated 1.3 million followers, and his videos have a combined 7 million likes. Many of the comments on his videos attempt to prove Javier's claims to be untrue. Quote, "If he's posting, then he's in our present time," wrote one user. "That and advertisements and signs would look different. And clothes in stores, LOL." Another user wrote, "He was at the mall before it opened. I see boats in the water." Oh no! You mean it might not be true? No! Okay, sorry, I digress. Others ask him to back up his claims with more proof. "If you are really from the future, then use a song from the future or show us something made after 2021, wrote one commenter. Yes. Javier is not the first instance of TikTok users claiming to be time travelers. Now, right, I was like, okay, well, I can't be that widespread, right? I mean, this guy's got, what they say, 7 million combined likes or whatever on the TikTok page. He's a time traveler. All this. I'm like, nah, come on. It can't be that widespread that time travelers are taking over TikTok, right? So what did I do? I went to TikTok. And I checked the hashtag time travel, right? Well, if you can see, here, I'll make it full screen so you can see. But yeah, 3.1 billion views. Yeah, that's billion with a B. Billion with a B. So in case you wondered, well, Javier is not alone. Apparently there are time travelers all over TikTok, and there it is. I don't know. Like I said, this is it's funny to me because it harkens me back to the good old days, just a few years back when Apex TV was going viral several times a week. Like I said, they were being picked up by tabloids all over the world. I mean, they were getting a ton of press and a ton of play, and I mean, come on now. Come on now. I mean, like if you're going to be a time traveler, you got to be super compelling, right? So I did notice that just as Noah the Time Traveler from Apex TV, the YouTube channel, just before he kind of bowed out and started doing some other things, they started introducing new time travelers, right? And there were people, Noah the Time Traveler was like maybe like a 20-year-old young man. All right. So it was kind of obvious that, you're not going to have like in the military, them time traveling a 20-year-old, like that's, come on, right? So, but then they started introducing new time travelers, different folks, and I can't remember their names. Like I said, it was more like watching it with my mouth agape, face palming, wondering what in the world I was doing watching Apex TV. But like I said, they were going viral every day. It was crazy. It was crazy. Okay. So anyway, back to TikTok, back to time travel, and it kind of got me thinking, right? Not just about time travel in general, but again, like I said, if it was possible, first again, like I said, the questions for tonight, if you want to be part of the show, you can give us a call at this phone number right here, 702-957-1037. We are taking your phone calls, and you can be part of the show tonight. And if you can also join the Discord, troubledminds.org is the official website. Click the Discord link, and we'll put you on the show. Just jump in the caller queue, and you'll see it. You'll see it right there, and I'll bring in. You'll be able to talk to me and whoever else might be listening. But okay, so the crazy part is this. Well, let's not call it crazy. Let's call it the imaginative part. Is if you could go anywhere in time, that's the question for tonight. You had one trip somewhere in time and one trip back. Where would you go? What time? And what would you do? Would you just go for like a sightseeing visit? Would you go back in history to change something? If that's even possible. Depends, right? If you ask Doc Brown from Back to the Future, I think he said it's not possible. Or maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. But okay, anyway. But that's the question. If you could take one trip in time, there and back, what would you do? Where would you go time-wise, and what would you do? And that's what's on my mind tonight. Kind of more of a fun thought experiment type show to kind of stretch our imaginations a smidge, and then also address what's happening on TikTok with all these time travelers and all the crazy things they do. There you go, Fred. Ticking away the moments that make up a dull day. There it is. So hopefully you can hang out with us tonight and not have a dull day as we think about all kinds of interesting things. Okay, so there we go. So Matt's got a good point here regarding the guy that's on Javier, that's on what was it? TikTok, the time traveler, right? He's walking around at the mall. There's nobody there. Matt wants to know, how did he have electricity and internet if humanity is gone? Well, that's a hell of a question. That's a hell of a question. Yeah. So anyway, as we continue tonight, there's more stuff. I'll get into some of the science of time travel, and we can talk about pretty much whatever you want to talk about. Like I always say, this is not just my show. This is our show. And if you have comments on this or any of these other things, whether you've seen some of this TikTok time traveling, if you remember Noah from Apex TV, or any of the rest of this, it is what it is, right? What are we going to do? And, are we going to continue making time travelers go viral with 3.1 billion combined views on TikTok, of all places? Hashtag time travel. Hashtag time travel. Yeah. Goofy stuff, right? I mean, I don't know. Like I said, if you're gonna bring stories about time travel, you better have some pretty amazing credentials, right? You better have some pretty convincing stories to tell me, or I'm just gonna give you that sideways look I kind of give. And yeah, but anyway, it's not even about that. Like I said, let's stretch our mind a little bit tonight and consider time travel is possible. If you don't believe it is, that's cool. If you do, I want to hear from you. Either way, actually, and you can be part of the show. It's as simple as that. This is a two-way conversation. This is me talking to you and hoping for some feedback. So if you want to be a part of the show tonight, we are discussing time travel. And of course, Apex TV a few years back. Now we have TikTok time travelers. Come on now, really? But all that aside, if you could go somewhere in time and have one trip back, where would you go? When would you go? And why? Give me a call. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Don't go anywhere. More time travel, Troubled Minds, and you after the break. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Facebook, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And tonight, we're talking about time travel. Like we like to make fun of the TikTok witches. Well, there's a new outbreak of TikTokers, and they're calling themselves time travelers. Go to TikTok and search hashtag time travel. What do you get? That's right. 3.1 billion views for that hashtag. 3.1 billion views for that hashtag. It is funny. It is interesting. It is worth talking about and thinking about because, well, where are all these time travelers coming from? It's strange, right? It's like, it's really, really weird. But anyway, all right. So what's on my mind tonight is with all these time travelers kind of coming back into vogue with TikTok and into the news and hitting the news cycle again, which they are, by the way. It kind of got me thinking about time travel. And, you know, there's the old trope, if you want to travel back in time and do one thing, what would you do? And, you know, the thought experiment is if you would go back and, let's say, remove baby Hitler because, you know, killing babies is just not good. But let's say you removed him. Let's say you took baby Hitler to a new home and you gave him the love he craved. Do you think that the baby Hitler would still become a psychopath? Or do you think that time has a certain way of replacing things that are removed from the time cycles, the time the actual the flow of time? Or would somebody else merely replace the tyrants of the world and replace them with somebody else? I don't know. Billion. What's up, Rivers? 3.1 billion views of hashtag time travel on TikTok. And there we go. So I don't know if you could go back. So the question for tonight is this: do you think time travel is real and is happening? Like we said to begin the show, some people speculate that maybe the UFOs or the aliens or what have you are actual time travelers from the future coming back to maybe witness the past. They're us from the future. And other people have speculated with Andrew Basiago and Project Pegasus. If you guys remember that was a pretty funny show that we did right around election time. And he was running for president because he believed that if he time traveled, he did time travel, and he saw that in one of the timelines he was actually elected president. So he's been running for president every 4 years since, and he hasn't been elected yet. And there you go. So I don't know if you could go back or go anywhere in time, forward, back, whatever, to do one thing. You had one trip there and one trip back. What would you do? And why? And that's the question tonight. So we're taking your phone calls if you want to be part of the show. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we'll talk to you. So there we go. All right. So I got some stuff to talk about here. Let me continue with some of this stuff until we start getting phone calls. It's awfully quiet out there. How's everybody doing tonight? It's the Monday blues, right? It's the doldrums. All right. There you go. TikTok, hashtag time travel, 3.1 billion views, right? And so, of course, there's all these, look at all these time travelers. It's amazing. There's so many, man. Imagine, right? Out of all these time travelers, imagine if there was actually one real time traveler in here, right? How would you ever find him? or her, or whatever. That's my point. Anyway, here we go. So let's go to the express.co.uk, one of my favorite, tabloids, and let's look at this. I'm going to post this in the chat, and as always, you guys know you can find all my sources down below on Facebook and on YouTube, and you could always check out my links and sources on the podcast feed as well when this actually goes up as a podcast. But okay, so that's what's on my mind tonight. So I don't know. How about I'll start. I haven't thought about it because I like to think of the question, but then not the answer, because I want the answer to be spontaneous, and I don't know, to be perfectly honest. I need a little bit more to think about it. But if I was going to go somewhere in time and only have one shot at it, and then one shot to come back, and that's it, what would I do? It's a tough question. There's a lot of stuff, right? And somebody said in the chat there, I would go, get the stock market charts a month ago and then come back a month later and be filthy rich. And that's one option, right? I think that would make a lot of sense. But, depends on what you do with the billions. If you come back and you become, let's say Bezos or Bill Gates or Elon Musk or Oprah Winfrey, or how many other billionaires are out there? George Soros, whoever you want to be. You can maybe model yourself after one of them. Or if you have billions of dollars, you don't have to do any of that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it would be more than that for me, because if you went back in time and came back and you actually accomplished something and it changed something, I would think that would be worth more than money, right? Especially if you changed something in the timeline in such a way that it benefited humanity in a very, very large way. That's definitely worth more than money. But then, of course, right, you'd have your story. You could sell it on TikTok and get billions of views too. So anyway, all right, let's go to this. This is from the express.co.uk, and this is a harken back to the days of Noah the Time Traveler. If you guys haven't seen this, this is and now I have no idea why, because I was really looking for the TikTok Time Traveler stuff, right? And to see if they were writing articles about this. And sure enough, in Newsweek, literally this week, actually, when was this? This was, March 26th, 2021, right? They wrote this about the TikTok time traveler, Javier, all right? Who said that just 6 or 7 years in the future, there would be no people. People would be gone. All right, well, this is written today. What is this? Friday, August 13th, 2021. Now, for some reason, now, let me take you down this. So this is what jogged my memory about Apex TV and Noah the Time Traveler. Time travel proof? Time Traveler unveils photos from year 3311 in bizarre claim. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is happening again. This is literally Friday. This is Friday the 13th. Here it is. A supposed time traveler from the year 3311 has published a bizarre confession tape in which he presented 3 photos of what he claimed is the future. And I was like, that sounds very, very, very familiar. Here it is. The anonymous man's time travel confession emerged in March of 2019 after he shared his story with online paranormal investigators. Oh. The supposed time traveler had his face blurred and voice distorted in the video, but he claimed he is the real deal. Speaking to the camera for YouTube channel Apex TV. What? That's why I was like, come on, really? This is literally an article written on Friday about Apex TV, a claim that was made in 2019. What in the world is going on? This is time travel in and of itself, is it not? That's a little bit strange, if you ask me. But okay, so why this is back in the news is beyond me. I mean, maybe because it's Friday the 13th on Friday and people are looking for odd news. I have no idea. But anyway, so this article jogged my memory about Noah the Time Traveler and Apex TV, which is, again, how I started the show and kind of explained how all this went down and, right, all the face palming in between. But, yeah. So actually, Lily makes a good point, and this is actually what I wanted to add to the conversation as well. So, aside from physical time travel, what do you guys think about something like remote viewing? Right, because they've said that if you can remote view, you can actually jump to different places in time and space. All right, so through our minds, there's an actual way to time travel, right? The remote viewers, if you remember, back in Project Stargate with the CIA, Joe McMoneagle, I think was his name, and Ingo Swann were the two most notable remote viewers from the 60s. And one of them, I think it was McMoneagle, remote viewed Mars 1 million years ago. So clearly that's time traveling, right? So Lily says this in the chat. What's up, Lily? Time travel is possible in precognition and dreams. Even prophets had visions of the future. That is not a physical experience to have a physical experience through time. And that's kind of that's a fantastic question here and a great statement, because do you believe that it is possible to maybe time travel strictly through your mind? And yeah, pretty good stuff there. Pretty good stuff. What's up, Richard says, I saw the photos. Yeah, I believe you. Like I said, the photos aren't very compelling, let's say. I mean, you would expect if you had photos from the future that they would be like, wow, holy smokes, there's the flying cars. I knew it. I knew we'd finally have the flying cars. But no, there were no flying cars. No, nothing that looked like bad anime is what it looked like if you look at those things. Yeah. So I don't know. Let's see. The question tonight, again, we're talking about time travel. Do you think time travel is possible? And if so, in what capacity? And suspend your disbelief if you don't. And if you could take one trip in time to go anywhere and do something, and then one safe trip to come back, where would you go? When would you go? What time period, and what would you do? And again, that could be future, that could be the past. And to add a wrinkle to it, do you believe that it would create your own new timeline, where kind of like string theory, where once you meddle with the previous timeline, you don't go back to it, you enter a brand new thread, as it were, and that's where the changes stick, not your old timeline. So I don't know. That's the question tonight, and that's what's on my mind. If you want to be part of the show, you guys know what to do. 702-957-1037. Looking to hear from you. Where would you go in time? Would it be to the Roman Empire? Would it be somewhere further back to the prehistoric times? Would you go back to see the birth of Christ? Anything like that? Or do you think it would be like, nah, I kind of want to see who shot JFK, or like, let's go back last month and see what the big crypto dip, right? If you knew the crypto dip was coming like 2 months ago or whatever it was, month and a half, and you just pumped a bunch of money in and it just recovered, well, there you go. You'd be pretty well off. So I think that's the question. Where would you go? What would you do? And yeah, I don't know. So like I said, back to this. Let's back to some of these articles I pulled, and we'll keep talking about this stuff. But if clearly Noah, the time traveler, unfortunately, guys, I hate to break it to you, but Noah, the time traveler, turned out to be fake. It wasn't a real thing. The guy's name's Dennis Bell, I think, Behl, and he does have his own Twitter account, his own YouTube channel. He's trying to go viral in his own right now, making YouTube videos of doing goofy stuff. And well, there's worse work out there, isn't there? But okay, let's see. So this is again from 2019 in Apex TV, and there's a perfect example. You see the blurry guy that was supposedly Dennis Bell, who was playing Noah the Time Traveler. And some of the actual photographs he's got of the future, well, they look like cartoons. They look like somebody has drawn these things. And there you go, MJ. What's up? You can time travel with your mind. And that's what I'm talking about. So if you guys think that stuff can happen, I'd love to hear from you tonight. So you know the phone number. And here we go. All right. So then I got this, right? I got to Cosmos Magazine, and this is actually brand new. This is from August 3rd, 2021, and it's talking about actual time travel. So we're not going to talk about time traveling with your mind right now, just yet, about remote viewing or any of that stuff. So if you guys have any of that and you do want to talk about it, you're definitely welcome. It's just not what's on my mind in the current moment. So we'll get to that in just a moment later on this evening. Or if you're into it right now, then you call me. Well, we'll talk about it right now. And that phone number again, 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. All right, let's go to this. This is from Cosmos Magazine. And yep, here's the actual way to do it. Is 5 ways you could actually time travel. Scientifically, with the laws of physics as we know it and all the rest of this. So here we go. Let's talk about a little bit about this. Straight from the article here. In 2009, the British physicist Stephen Hawking held a party for time travelers. The twist was he sent out the invites a year later. No guests showed up. Time travel is probably impossible, this article says. Even if it were possible, Hawking and others have argued that you could never travel back before the moment your time machine was built. But travel to the future? That's a different story. Interesting. Of course, we are all time travelers as we are swept along in the current of time from past to future at a rate of 1 hour per hour, right? Nothing too exciting there. We all know that. But as with a river, the current flows at different speeds in different places. Science, as we know it, allows for several methods to take the fast track into the future. And here's the rundown. Number one, via speed, right? These are the traditional ways. Just going to burn through a few of these just to get some ideas flowing. And if you guys, don't have ideas, then I don't know. Maybe I'll just talk about time travel stories because I got a bunch of those too. But so if you could take one trip in time, when would you go? What would you do? And why? Looking to hear from you tonight. Number one, time travel via speed. Just as I say it, the telephone cuts out. Perfect timing. All right, going to call it back. All right, it'll be back up in like 30 seconds. All right, anyway. Time travel via speed. This is the easiest and most practical way to time travel into the far future. You just go really fast. According to Einstein's theory of special relativity, when you travel at speeds approaching the speed of light, time slows down for you relative to the outside world. This is not just a conjecture or thought experiment. It's been measured. It's real. Using twin atomic clocks, one flown in a jet aircraft, the other stationary on Earth, physicists have shown that a flying clock ticks slower because of its speed. In the case of the aircraft, the effect is minuscule, but if you were in a spaceship traveling at 90% of the speed of light, you'd experience time passing at about 2.6 times slower than it was back on Earth. And of course, this is your twins paradox, right? And the closer you get to the speed of light, the more extreme the time travel. The highest speeds achieved through any human technology are probably the protons whizzing around the Large Hadron Collider at 99.9999.1% the speed of light. Using special relativity, we can calculate 1 second for the proton is equivalent to 27,000 seconds, or about 11 months for us. So anyway, you see, as we know this, if you go a little faster, if you do these things, you can time travel. We know this, right? This is one of those ones that's not really that far off the beaten path. Many people know the Einstein special relativity and speed and mass, and as you increase your speed, your mass also increases, and so that's why there's a universal speed limit of the speed of light, because at the speed of light you become pure energy. You have to have no mass to achieve the speed of light. So anyway, just to bore you guys to tears, let's go number 2. So time travel via gravity. And if you guys haven't seen, I bring this up from time to time because it's a fantastic movie. I don't see a ton of movies, but what is it called with Matthew McConaughey? Interstellar. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing, and they address time travel via gravity in that movie. I'm not going to throw out too many spoilers here because, it is a 12-year-old movie or whatever it is, 15-year-old. I don't know. Seems like it's a long-ass time ago. But anyway, time travel via gravity, and they explore this in Interstellar, and they supposedly met with NASA physicists to actually get the timing down and the actual mathematics correct of the time travel that they depict in Interstellar, the fictional movie. But anyway, the next method of time travel, also inspired by Einstein, according to his theory of general relativity, the stronger the gravity you feel, the slower time moves. As you get closer to the center of the Earth, for example, the strength of gravity increases. Time runs slower for your feet than your head. Again, this effect has been measured. In 2010, physicists at the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, the NIST, placed 2 atomic clocks on shelves, one 33 centimeters above the other, and measured the difference in their rate of ticking. The lower one ticked slower because it feels a slightly stronger gravity. Interesting, no? To travel to the far future, all we need is a region of extremely strong gravity, such as a black hole. The closer you get to the event horizon, the slower time moves, but it's risky business. Cross the boundary and you can never escape. And that's, yeah, exactly. Fred, 100%. A great movie, Interstellar, and they actually discussed time travel, depicted even in that movie with Matthew McConaughey and Murph. You guys remember the movie? Pretty good stuff. But okay, let's see. Yeah, Tommy Boy's got it right though. So nope, everyone else can get older while you stay the same age, and that's exactly the problem here. Is that if you do this, you remain the same age because time is relative to your position next to the black hole or the giant gravity signature, but everybody else ages normally. So you slow down your aging process bigly. See what I did there? Big league, actually. You slow down your process, your actual timing process, your experience in time, relativity, to the gravitational signature, all right? But then the people back on Earth would experience the regular quick time. And so, of course, if you spend a bunch of time next to a black hole, by the time you come back, it could be generations in the future. And everybody you ever known is now passed away. So who knows? Crazy stuff here. I don't know. But this is all legitimate. This is all like tested science. This is not science fiction. This is all very real stuff. And so, like I said, like to think about this, like to talk about it, and that's what we're doing tonight. So the question for you is this. We're talking about time travel. First, Noah the Time Traveler from Apex TV, if you guys remember that YouTube channel. And then there's Tik Tok Time Travelers are back. They're here, and that's right, 3.1 billion views of hashtag time travel on TikTok. I'm half tempted to blur my face and make myself a time traveler. What do you guys think? Should I try it? Should I try and go for the billions of views? Weird. Anyway, so my thought tonight is this. I thought we'd have a little bit of fun and kind of consider if you could time travel any time ever, to the beginning of the universe to the end, to do one thing and then make a return trip, what would you do? Would it be the monetary situation to win the lottery? Or would it be something to help humanity? Would it be to go back in time to visit maybe a passed on loved one, to spend some extra time with him that maybe you regretted that you didn't? Things like this, right? Like there's a lot of things out there that would be worthwhile if you could step out of our timeline and into some place else. And yeah, so that's what's on my mind tonight. I don't know exactly what I would do. I'm still thinking about it. There's a lot of things I'd love to do, but if it's only limited to one, it's kind of like the genie and the 3 wishes, right? It's kind of a curse because, well, 5 wishes would be better, or 10 or 20, but 3's brutal. 1's even worse, right? You get one shot at it. Where would you go? And if you want to be part of this conversation tonight, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this time travel. And how about the aliens? Do you think they are actually us from the future, kind of doing a sort of a trip back in time to find out what sort of like a field trip to kind of look at the past and see what it was really like during the time of COVID, right? Or what it was really like to see what the media was like during the presidency of one Donald Trump. Or what about if you wanted to go back and you wanted to see all the I don't know. I'm digressing here, but I don't know. Point being is, where would you go? What would you do? And that's what's on my mind tonight. Love to hear from you guys. If you want to be part of the show, you know what to do. 702-957-1037. Talking about time travel tonight. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange, and the question that's on my mind is: do you believe time travel is real? Do you believe it's happening? And if not, and you could suspend your disbelief and take one trip in time anywhere, where would it be? Where would you go? And what would you accomplish? Lots of stuff to think about, lots of stuff to consider. And like I said, let's just kind of stretch our minds and consider all the things. And well, that's what we're here to do. So if you love this conversation and want to chip in, I appreciate it quite a lot. Give us a call. 702-957-1037, and we'll put you on the show. We got Robert calling in. We'll take his call in just a moment. Hang tight, Robert, but we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere.
just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
All right, good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and this is the show where we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. We do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and what are those things? That's right, aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. We are streaming on Facebook, D-Live, YouTube, and Periscope. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we're talking about time travel tonight. A couple years back, 3 years back, Apex TV had Noah the Time Traveler, and they were going viral a couple times a week, it seemed. Well, now Apex TV is still going, I'm told, but Noah the Time Traveler has outed himself. He said they never actually time traveled. It was all a ruse. Who knew? But TikTok is bringing back the time travelers, as we checked as we began the show tonight. That's right. Hashtag time travel on TikTok has 3.1 billion with a B, billion views. And yeah, it got me thinking about time travel and all the rest of this stuff. And I had a question. And the question for this evening is this. If you could time travel anywhere, to any place in time, and have one safe trip back, that's it. You get to go there, you get to come back. Where would you go? What would you do? And why? And we're taking your phone calls if you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. You can also join the show at using Discord by going to troubledminds.org and click the Discord link. But let's go to Robert. Robert in Pennsylvania. Thank you for waiting, my friend. Welcome to the show. How are you tonight? Oops.
How are you?
I'm doing very well. Doing very well. What's on your mind, my man? You got,
Okay.
Thank you for the rock fin. I've got by the way, I've got a meeting tomorrow with Jamie at 1 p.m. So we should hopefully be setting that up. So thank you.
I had a Mandela experience with that.
Did you?
Yeah. When I posted on the Discord about that, I got that quick response, and then you posted up there that they already contacted you. All right. I remember vividly reading that some fans of Troubled Minds, all right. Then when I went to bed. Then when I got up, and I went to check the Discord just to review that, it said one fan. Now, I swear it said some fans the first time.
You're psyching yourself out, man. You're time traveling now. I copy pasted it. You want me to double check for you? I'll double check for you after the show. Anyway, go right ahead. What's on your mind tonight with the time travel stuff?
When you were talking about remote viewing as possibly being considered a time travel vehicle, it reminded me of hypnotic regression when people are hypnotically regressed to remember their past lives.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Is that again? That's a mental time travel.
Okay? Yeah. I would think. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, maybe why does time travel have to be vehicular? Maybe it is all a state of the mind. But what I'm curious about is, it's always remembering the past lives. Does anybody have read any texts, any accounts of hypnotic regression of people who remembered their future lives?
That's a good question. I think that's probably far more rare Because if, again, like we talk about time as existing all in one space, the past, the present, and the future, you would expect if we had people from the past remembering past lives, then we would actually have people from the future remembering future lives as well. But I can't recall a single instance of that. I'm sure it exists, but it's definitely not as prevalent as past lives. Interesting.
I wonder if that has anything to do with the concept that you can travel. If you can travel in time, you can only travel into the past. That it's impossible to travel into the future, and that may be why there's no memories of a future life in these hypnotic regressions.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think Einstein was saying you could only travel to the future. You can't go to the past. That's what he was saying scientifically.
Okay.
So
I got that topsy-turvy. I got that upside down.
Yeah, so he was saying that you can't go further back from the point the time machine was created. That would be the farthest back you could go.
I would be very interested if any of your listeners have ever, some of your listeners have expressed that they have seen UFOs and or had experiences and other paranormal experiences. I'd be very interested for any of your listeners to call in who may have experienced, to some degree, some kind of time travel or suspect that they have run into a time traveler. I'd really like to hear that. And one more thing before I get off the phone. On your earlier show, Conspiracy News, Trouble Minds Conspiracy News, you were talking about the black holes and the internal expansion.
Yes, fascinating stuff, right? How they don't expand outward. They think they think they're expanding inward. But yeah, go ahead.
It makes me think that internal expansion is creating another universe.
Exactly, right? So either it's creating another universe, like a sort of inverse big bang just somewhere else, or it's possible entirely that it's a sort of a connection, that Einstein-Rosen bridge from here to another maybe universe itself. Maybe they're kind of pockmarked on both sides, and that's the wormhole itself, is the black hole. Yeah, maybe, man. That's one of the ones that blew my mind today. It takes quite a lot sometimes because we go through so much news. But if I'm not sure what was your take there. Did you think it's maybe creating another universe?
That was my take. That if black holes are not expanding outwardly but inwardly, then those black holes can only expand into another universe to create another universe. That was what I gathered from it.
Yeah, that's I like the take. Considering that it's the first time I'd ever heard of it. Black holes actually expanding inward. But so what does it mean? It's got to go somewhere, but it's not going clearly to our visible universe. So, yeah, spooky stuff,
taking
man.
The materials that get sucked into its orbit, and just like a vacuum cleaner, and a bag just expands and expands and expands. Right, that is expanding into another universe.
Exactly.
Taking that material and recreating it into another universe. That's what I thought when I was listening to that. It's very interesting.
Agreed.
This last time.
Agreed. Yeah, I like the take. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah. So imagine, right? Let's say it's sort of the multiverse, and they're all connected by these black holes. And like you said, they're actually taking matter from one universe to the next. Curious, and they're trading it back and forth, right? Because they're all connected on two sides. Yeah, who knows, man? Lots of spooky stuff to think about.
I actually think also when people see poltergeist, ghosts, all right, that they're looking into the past, all right, that, if they're living in a house, I live in a house, it's a beautiful house, it's an old Sears house, it's 100 years old, all right, and it used to be haunted. All right, seriously, we had some work done in here. We moved out for a while some work people were in here doing some fixing up, and I came in one day and the workers were upstairs working, and I said to them, they said to me, "Your place not haunted, is it?" I said, well, why would you say that? He said, because we hear voices up here. And we used to have slamming doors, the whole 9 yards, right? But I guess they got bored and realized that we weren't going to leave. I don't know if they were from the past and previous tenants or owners or whatever, but they got bored and finally left us alone.
Gotcha. Interesting.
But I think that may be also seeing back in time, just like that famous case in Paris, all right, where the two women were walking through, what was it, some garden of Garden of Passalis or whatever it was, and they saw, back in the days of Marie Antoinette, these kinds of people, having a party or something. All right, they both saw it. It's a classic. Do you know what I'm talking about?
And it's not ringing a bell. No, not ringing a bell. But they were able. So it's almost like they phased into the past for a second and then came back out of it.
Yeah, that was. I'm looking at it here.
So
Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Jordan. It's a famous incident, the ghost of Petite Trianon or Vassal. Refers to claims of time travel and hauntings made by Charlotte Ann Moberly, 1846 to 1937, and Eleanor Jourdain in 1911. Moberly and Jourdain published a book entitled An Adventure under the names of Elizabeth Morrison and Frances Lamont. Their book described the visit they made to the Petite Trianon, a small chateau on the grounds of the Palace of Versailles, where they claimed they saw ghosts, including Marie Antoinette and others. Their story caused a sensation, was the subject of much ridicule. But they died, never confessing that it was made up, and I don't think it was.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I hadn't heard that. But yeah, curious that maybe they are seeing the past like that. Yeah, good stuff, man. Very, very good stuff. So if you had the one shot to go somewhere back in time to do something, did you decide what you would want to do?
Oh my goodness, yeah. There was no question. If I one shot, I'd go back to Dallas, November 22nd, 1963. I'd be standing on the sidewalk, knowing what I know, and as soon as that president's limousine, JFK's limousine, went to slow down like it did, I dart from the sidewalk right into the back seat where he was, and I pulled him down onto his wife's lap just as the first shot was being fired. That's
nice.
What I would do, because I think no assassination in history ever changed the timeline more than what happened that day. That's what I would do.
Gotcha. Fantastic.
I'm sending you a link to this Moberly Jourdain incident in case your other listeners want to check this out.
Okay.
And then I'm going to get off the phone and ask any of your listeners if they would call in or even chat, but preferably call in if they feel themselves have somehow experienced a time event or think they may have run into a time traveler, because if there's time travelers, they're living among us.
All right.
I'd like to hear from them.
Okay. We got a couple calls in the Discord, so we'll do that. So thanks for sharing the link. Thanks for the great stuff. We'll talk to you soon, Robert. Appreciate it, my man.
Okay. Take care. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Have a great night. There you go. If you guys want to be part of the show, we're talking about time travel tonight. If you could go back to one spot in time, where would you go? Forward, back, and it's like this. This is the thought experiment. You could go back one or forward once and come back to the present time, and that's all you got. 2 shots at it. What would you do? What would you do? Great call from Robert. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. I don't know who was in here first, but let's go to James. James from Salcedo Paranormal. What's up, my friend? You're on the Trouble Minds with Mike. How are you?
I'm okay. Just I'm not reading chat much, but I'm just happy to call in when I can, and yeah, thank you for having me again.
You got it. My pleasure is all ours, man. So, what do you think about this time travel stuff? Do you think it's actually real?
I think it's possible. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know the details of it. I just regarding your question earlier, I think if I could go, well, first of all, I'd want to be able to see into the future before I went anywhere, like in the future, because I wouldn't want to just jump to a point without knowing what's there. That's kind of the first thing that comes to my mind is I would need a way to be able to look into it first and almost kind of scan it, which is a whole other thing. But I would need a way to basically look at whatever I'm going to before I go there, before I decide to go there. You know, I wouldn't want to just put in a number and then just go for it and see what happens.
Yeah, that makes sense. You kind of want to be able to say, okay, this was like you don't want to like go forward into the middle of World War III on accident. That would be bad.
Yeah,
that'd be super bad. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you would go back then, but have you picked a spot, or is that as far as you got thinking about it?
Well, no, I was thinking if I could look forward and kind of just get an idea of what the world is like, you know, all along the time stream, I wouldn't mind going to like the most peaceful point, you know, in the future and seeing what that's like. So I don't know if I don't think I could really go to the past. I think I'd want to go to the future, but I'd want to go to, you know, a time where I could actually learn something rather than a time where I have to worry about surviving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. So kind of like the Star Trek utopian future where everything was kosher and back to peaceful Humanville.
Yeah, or at least as close to that as one can get in reality anyway.
Nice. And then just kind of check it out to see where we're headed to. And wouldn't it be funny if you like punched in, just take me to the most peaceful time, and it like kicked you back like 6 years or something?
Oh, geez. No,
exactly. Oh, geez.
I don't think, I don't like to think that's likely, because I don't feel like even 6 years ago was really all that peaceful the planet overall anyway.
Exactly, that's my point.
So,
just saying it doesn't get any better from here.
Yeah, no. It's kind of like the whole idea of, you know, there being this big event where like all technology is wiped out. It's like, no, I'm not even going to think about that, because that's just that I would not be able to do what I do without technology. So, you know.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, cool. So that's a good one. I like that. Look to see where we're headed, and in, let's say, the pinnacle of peaceful humanity. I like it, man. I like it. Very nice. Other thoughts on time travel while we got you on? We got Austin right behind you. So,
yeah, and I just I think that, you know, it's in order to believe any kind of time traveler that comes here or comes to the present, I would need like a detailed description of a future event, like now, before it happens, before I'd even consider that it could be, you know, that could be possible, or that could be it could actually be a time traveler. Because if it's just like, you know, a year from now or whatever, and it's vague or anything like that, I don't, it's too easy to be faked.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. James, are you saying Tik Tok time travelers probably aren't real? You're breaking my heart, brother.
Yeah, you know, I hate to tell you, but because you know what, I love TikTok. I mean, I watch it all the time.
Clearly.
I mean, all the time.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm with you. I like that's kind of why I was like facepalm to start the conversation back to Noah the time traveler and all the rest of that. But yeah, all good, my man. I appreciate the call. Anything else while we got you on?
No, just thank you for having me again. Last Thursday was a lot of fun, and can't wait to do it again.
Agreed. Everybody follow Salcedo Paranormal. He's got a podcast talking about paranormal stuff, and we did a show together on Thursday regarding mirrors. So if you haven't listened to that one, I highly recommend you go back and check it out. And actually, in that show itself, James's podcast is linked right down below, so you can find an easy link right there on our YouTube channel, right in the show description. Thanks again, James. Appreciate it, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks a lot. You too. All right, let's go to Austin. Austin, what's up, my friend? Are you there? Testing 1 2. Austin, you're on Troubled Minds with Michael Strange. Okay, maybe not. Let me know. Send me a chat that lets me know you're there, and we'll keep doing our thing. All right, so tonight we're talking about time travel. We're talking about, do you think it's possible, and do you really believe that the 3.1 billion views on TikTok for hashtag time travel are from real time travelers? James breaking my heart, telling me probably not. Probably not. There we go. All right. No, Austin, I could not hear you. So I put you on the show and you're muted or something. Let me double check. Yeah, I don't have you muted. So you were muted somehow. You were not coming through. So let's see. All right. Let's see. All right. All right, there we go. So he's getting it worked out. We'll get Austin on the show in just a little bit here. But so the question tonight, right, regarding time travel is, first, do you think it's real? Like some speculated that maybe aliens or the things we see in the sky are us coming back from the future to kind of check back on our past selves, right? Maybe sort of vacation things or maybe historical things, or who knows, right? That's kind of one speculation. And do you think time travel is real? Do you think it's actually happening out there? Somebody's got this technology, or even if we don't now, do you think that somebody from the future possibly has this technology and they are coming back to check on us or meddle with the timeline or things like this? That's what we're thinking about. That's what we're talking about tonight. And the one question I have, the thing that's on my mind is suspend your disbelief. And even if you don't believe time travel is real, what do you think? If you could go one place in time and get one safe trip back, when would you go and what would you do? And Robert says he would have gone to the JFK assassination and he'd have saved JFK's life. And I like that. As long as you're going to go back in time and do something, you may as well be a hero, right? Definitely good stuff. But that's what's on my mind tonight, and we are taking your phone calls. So if you have thoughts on this, time travel, or the rest of this stuff, I would absolutely love to hear from you tonight. Great calls so far. We'll get to Austin here in just a second when we get his Discord fixed up. But if you want to be part of the show tonight, you know what to do. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We're talking time travel tonight. If you could go one place in time and get one safe trip back, when would you go and what would you do? Love to hear from you. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More time travel talk after the break. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Facebook, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we're taking your phone calls tonight. We're talking about time travel. TikTok has been overrun with time travelers. Well, what do you think? Is time travel real, or is just time travel on TikTok less real? I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. And the question I have on my mind tonight, let's suspend our disbelief. And if time travel were real, where in time would you go if you were granted one trip there and one trip back? What would you do? And, well, is it a fun thought experiment? We had some great takes already. Good stuff. Lily in the chat said that she would go back in time to the point in the Garden of Eden and stop Adam and Eve from eating the apple. And there you go. There's as poignant as any point in history ever, right? So I like it. I think that's a fantastic way to think. Robert would go back and save JFK, saying that in our lifetimes it was one of the things that kind of shocked our timeline more than anything else, because he would have been a good president. I kind of agree. He seemed like he had the ability to kind of maybe transcend politics a little bit. I actually have, if you want to check him out, go back on YouTube. There's the debates between JFK and Richard Nixon. They're in black and white, beautiful, and archived for your listening pleasure. I was a little surprised, actually, when I went back and listened to that stuff. I said this in the past once or twice, that they were talking about freedom quite a lot. They were talking about advancing freedom throughout the world and advancing freedom in the United States. And I was a little shocked. I was like, wow, politicians actually talked about this at one point? Because I don't think I've heard a politician say freedom, the word freedom, one time in my lifetime, except unless they're like, making fun of it. It's weird how it like reverses. I don't know. It's strange, but that's the question tonight. If you could go back to one point in time, when would it be, and what would you do, and why? So let's go to let's try Austin again. Let's see. Let me check. You sent a message here. Let's see. My cell phone will go out sometimes. Let's see. Okay, cool. Let's try Austin one more time. And if we can't get him, we got Night Stalker on right behind that. Austin, you're on Trouble Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Oh, hey, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, coming through. Great, my friend. What's on your mind tonight? How are you?
Oh, it just cut me out before I got on, so like just in time. I could tell because it sounded like you were speaking at 1,000 miles an hour when I just got in here.
Nice. All right.
So what's the question?
So the question is, if you had the chance to go back or go anywhere in time once and then get a trip back, where in time would you go and why?
I think I would go all the way back to the time when the Emerald Tablets were written, like Atlantis, just to see like the advanced technology that I have this crazy belief existed.
Okay, which is?
And
you want to share the crazy belief?
Oh yeah, like I don't exactly know, but whatever it is, I have a deep feeling that whoever was in Atlantis, they had like free energy, and they had like very high, like, and simple to follow moral guidelines, and it all worked together like gears in a machine. And except it was not like fascist, it was more like it kind of like anarchy, but it was like a peaceful, thriving anarchy, and they're all obsessed with studying the stars, and they probably had things like, I think that is when the pyramids were made, the same time. So basically the time when the pyramids were made.
Okay, and actually go back and check out what was happening back then. All right, I'm with you.
Yeah.
So you would do it just basically for knowledge. You would want to find out something about the past and then come back and just kind of keep it to yourself, like hoard it like Gollum in the Ring, or would you want to share? Share with the future?
I'm not sure how I would do it, because I feel like that kind of knowledge is so powerful, I would become a target pretty quickly if I even spoke about it.
That's a good point.
Like, I don't know, because it's all about, I would know myself so well, though, because I know they're obsessed with studying the stars and the macro and the micro. It was like a balanced study to learn more about themselves. And they're on a very deep level with that stuff. So I would know myself more than anybody on the planet, I would feel like, if I did that.
Yeah, it would definitely be a look into the esoteric technology, right? Basically the stuff that they say is fable, and you would know. It would almost be the secrets of the universe right there. It would be pretty damn close, wouldn't it? At least the secrets of humanity, that's for sure.
Yeah, it would be like coming back with literally like Star Wars Jedi skills, Like, that would be pretty cool. You know what? I think I would share it, but I would have to be very careful. That's all. Like, I would have to make sure I only give what would actually do good, I guess. But then again, there's my mind again. I feel like my ego, I don't know how my ego would take that. I guess if it happened, I would find out how pure I am, for sure,
Right, exactly. I think just given the choice, like the time travel choice, that would be the purity test right there, because it'd be really easy to say, well, I'm gonna go back last week and have the lotto numbers and bingo, right? There would be your purity test. But yeah, your choice alone, choice by itself. Sorry, go ahead.
If I would do it though, I think John Titor was probably the most realistic so-called time traveler, because he explained it in such a way of time travel not actually existing, that dimensional travel is what was real, and that you can't really just go back from the past into the future, because you'll jump to a different timeline. And then, so like, that's like, does that make sense? Have you ever heard of this, John Titor?
Yeah, definitely.
Like maybe
did a show on him a while back, him and Al Bielek and that whole bit. Yeah, very familiar with the story.
Yeah, he was like, you can't send people back in the future, back in the past, and then bring the objects back from the past to the same future in the timeline. You could send with objects, but not people. That's what he was saying. I don't know how true any of that is. He could have made it all up, but I just thought it made more sense thinking of it as dimensional travel. I feel like you go to different dimensions when you dream, and maybe even some people can do it when they astral travel, even, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like we're kind of connected interdimensionally. We have something about us that's interdimensional.
Yeah, the consciousness, or as it were, it kind of is able to transcend just our reality. Yeah, I like that, man. I like that. Very good stuff. And I like your choice. All the way back to like the crystal technology, whatever it was Atlantis had. Very good stuff, man. So just a couple quick questions before I let you go. Like I said, I got calls right behind you. But so do you watch TikTok much? And do you believe that TikTokers are actually time traveling? What's going on with that?
I'll be real. I think TikTok is a piece of crap, and ever since I heard that, like the thing about them being bought out by some kind of Chinese company or whatever, that was just more of a reason not for me to ever even get involved. It got infiltrated somehow, and I guess it could be trendy, and I've had a lot of peer pressure to play with it, but I don't really care.
Gotcha.
The TikTok thing, I think it's pretty ironic, though. I seen a comment in the chat talking about how it's, TikTok, time travel, right? It's so ironic. Like a clock, right? Time travel, TikTok, like, wow, yeah, that's real convenient.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right. Exactly. TikTok on the clock, on the time travel clock. Austin, you were the man. Thanks for calling in. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, we got to go. There's a couple calls right behind you. Thanks, brother.
All right, good talking. Peace.
Thanks, man.
May the force be with you.
You too, man. Have a great night. That's Austin, and a friend of ours from Michigan. Let's go to Derek in Massachusetts, the Night Stalker. How you doing, my friend? Welcome to the show. It's got to unmute, and you're good to go.
Mike, what's happening?
Hey, man, doing our thing, talking about weird stuff. What do you think about this time travel business?
I'm just waking up from a nap, so these are literally the first words I'm speaking right now. So I'm a little weirded out. Here we go. Awesome topic. Really cool stuff. I like the time travel stuff lately.
Thank you.
It's been interesting to me. I don't really have a good location or place. Like I was gonna say Atlantis before Austin did with that cool call, but yeah, I want to go back to like as far as I possibly can. Like if Atlantis isn't the first ancient civilization, if like Lemuria was before that or something before that, then I would want to go to like the very, very first one and see like go back as far as possible. Or I mentioned this in the chat, just go back like 30 seconds and so I can hang out with the clone of myself and run amok,
That's right, there's two of me now.
That's true.
That'd be pretty cool. I like that. That's a good idea.
But I got a lot of questions as to like how it might work. Like the new paradigm now is like the idea that if you go back in time, then you're creating the new timeline. So like nothing you do will actually change anything. Like you're not even on your time anymore. Which kind of takes the fun out of a lot of the like the fixing like past events or whatever. But there's also like the quantum leap type stuff where if you go back in time, like the only way you can really interact is if you're like experiencing it through like the consciousness of another person who's back there. If you're just like seeing through somebody else's like eyes, you know what I mean? If maybe you're like playing the role of somebody during the time travel, you know, which is kind of a tough thing to explain. But especially if it is a consciousness based traveling, like, to make a very long story short, basically, I think that like every event that has ever happened and could ever happen and like that is happening all at once. So like reality is more like a shape than it is a line, you know? So it's more like anything we can possibly think of, like we can actually get to. So it's more of you're like finding like a coordinates on a map, like to get to the reality of which you want to experience. But there's no actual like time. So I'm not sure how time travel would work under that paradigm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's not necessarily a physical thing. You're seeing it through the existence of somebody else in that timeline.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it can't change. You can't really change anything because it's basically two separate places in the time space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I actually hadn't thought of that. That's pretty good stuff. Pretty good.
And then, but there is like just the classic time travel is just too fun, you know. So they're to like ignore it, you know. So I do kind of like to believe it's possible. And if it is, then there might be a lot of rules in which like you have to operate. That there is like the idea that there's some kind of secret time traveling elites, like the chronocracy, if you will, like the time technocracy. And they're the ones like you can't, like, say for instance, there's the idea that like once somebody invents like a time machine, that's the point where everybody gets to come back to. Like I think Einstein said that he believes time travel is possible, but he doesn't know why there aren't time travelers popping in and out at every second, you know? And that could be like some kind of system at play, some kind of like rules that are in place by like the Time Lords or like the Time Variance Authority in Loki or like the Time Bureau in Legends of Tomorrow. Like it seems like in pop culture there's the idea of some kind of elite group of time travelers that kind of keep the timeline the way they want it. Seems to percolate to all of sci-fi, you know. So I wonder if there's any like basis in reality with that. What do you think?
Yeah, so that's like the Adjustment Bureau, which is
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Philip K. Dick. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think so, right? Like you figure there's got to be a regulatory structure for everything, right? We're not allowed as people to live in chaos, are we? I mean, we're crying out loud. So that makes sense to me that if there were, right, there would be time cops, right? There would be sort of like the Terminator version of, you know, let's say you were running amok, messing up the timeline. I think they would send somebody after you to stop, to make you stop, right? I would think that makes sense to me. Absolutely.
It's a cool idea, but then again, like I'm just not sure if it's if you actually can mess up with the timeline. Like depending on the rules of time travel, you might not even be able to if you wanted to, you know. But I don't know. Sometimes like when you're lying in bed, sometimes you kind of wish you can go back in time and change some earlier events in your life to change where you are now. But I'm just not sure if that's ever going to be something that we can actually do. That if you go back and change the events of your life, you're not actually changing your life. You're changing the life of the parallel reality version of Derek the Night Stalker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but maybe if there's some kind of thing where then you can kind of quantum leap into that reality and like experience that reality then after that change is made. That might be what's happening, you know, like a fusion of kind of all of it, like kind of the maps of like the every possible reality, like to find the coordinates and then also then to experience that reality. I'm not sure. I don't know. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
I think the good news is we're probably not going to be stuck with this question, right? You know, anytime soon. So I think we're safe. Yeah. I think we're safe there. But it is fascinating that once you start kind of like mentally stepping out of your own time frame and trying to explore those spaces of exactly. It would be reality, it becomes a little more weird than just even like dimensional travel, because now you're talking about not just maybe a multiverse and string theory and different versions of Derek and Mike and everybody else. You know, there's a day stalker out there too, right? There's
exactly, yeah.
But the weirdest thing is that it does seem stranger than probably most anything else, because as they say, right? Once you start breaking off different, every decision has a different timeline sort of situation. That's
exactly,
a whole lot of worlds, man. Yeah. That's
and it makes you like wonder like what. It makes you wonder like what constitutes a decision too. Is it like every moment in your life creates this new like branch reality, or is it major moments in your life? Or if I drop like my water bottle, is there different realities where it bounces in every single possible direction?
Right.
And if that's the case, like what constitutes a moment? Like every micro moment, every like I don't know. So you very very easily get into the idea that it's infinite. It's infinity. There's infinite moments. Infinite choices to get to. And that really throws everything all out of whack. But to go like really,
and screws up your brain. But yeah, go ahead.
Exactly, yeah. But to go really weird with it, the idea like kind of conspiratorial and esoteric and stuff is the idea that there's a group of like that the high super elites are worshiping Saturn for some reason. Like there's the whole Saturnalia idea and like eyes wide shut and that whole idea. But Saturn, Kronos, is also the god of time. So there is a chance that like the elites are in one way or another worshiping this like Saturn time cube, worshiping the masters of time, Kronos, the god of time, so perhaps there is some kind of like secret elite time travel group or some kind of elite time travel cult that's like operating in the background, and what are they doing? I have no clue, but it's weird how the things all kind of weave together,
Yeah, definitely. The Adjustment Bureau in time travel.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. Hey, Derek.
Is there any calls behind me? I'll hang up.
We got Jack behind you. I appreciate the call.
Okay.
Always good stuff.
Awesome show.
Thank you.
Great
Appreciate it. Thank you. Talk to you soon. There you go. That's Derek in Massachusetts, the Night Stalker. Fantastic stuff as always. Let's go to Jack. We're going to go to Jack in Wisconsin. If you want to be part of the show, guys, at 702-957-1037. Jack, thanks for waiting, my friend. How are you tonight? Jack in Wisconsin. Bueller? Let's see. I don't think it's me. Yeah, no, not me. What's up, man? Jack, are you there? What's up, buddy? All right. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. Jack, work with me, buddy. Work with me, buddy. All right. I'm going to mute you and come back in like 30 seconds. Let's see if we can get you working. Jack, you are on the line. You're muted. I'll get back to you in a sec. All right. So we're talking about time travel tonight, guys. Fantastic stuff there from Derek, Night Stalker. Great stuff from Austin as well. Great calls tonight. So the thing is this, right? If there is time travel, are there time cops? Is there some sort of adjustment bureau, as it were, like Philip K. Dick has suggested in his fiction, where there's maybe a time authority that will not allow these things to happen, and that's why the past can't be changed so easily, assuming time travel exists, of course. And I have no idea. It's been 30 seconds. Let's check with. I'm just going to go to Jack. I was going to try Jack again, and he just hung up. Jack, you were just definitely not coming through. So call back, and I'll put you on. I'll call in. I'll put you on immediately. Yeah, good stuff. Right, exactly. Derek, the Night Stalker. He's always on the ball with this stuff. I'm always a little excited when he calls in because I'm like, all right, where are we going to take this tonight? The Clyde Lewis called the other night, called Derek when he called in the King of Synchronicity, and you can see why. Let's see. HB says Night Stalker covers mental ground. Hell yeah, he does. Saturn and Kronos, the time god. Yeah, Short Quick says like Jupiter ascending too. Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I've heard it's a really good movie. All right, so we're still taking your phone calls, guys. The question tonight, right? The Tik Tok Time travelers have actually inspired me to consider if time travel were real. The question is, and you were given one chance to go back in time or forward in time, anywhere in time. Where would you go? And you were given the one chance to come back. You had one shot at it. Go back or forward in time and come back to your regular timeline. What would you do? Again, we've had some Save JFK. We've had go back to the Garden of Eden and stop them from Adam and Eve from eating the apple. We had Austin and Derek, the Night Stalker, actually say that they would probably go back as far as possible, Atlantis or whatever earliest civilization they could find. Things like this, right? Is there anybody out there who just wants to go back and find a winning lottery ticket? I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that, and we'll just turn it into. We'll just go billions, I'll just win billions in a lottery. I'll just go back 6 months and pick the biggest jackpot and win the biggest jackpot, and then we'll take troubled minds on the road and buy us some senators, and we'll yuck it up and have a swell time. What do you guys think about that? Why not? Why not? Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So again, we're looking to hear from you. We got a few minutes left if you want to be part of the show. 702-957-1037. What do you think? If you had one shot at time travel, what would it be? Would it be, and there's really difficult decisions here. If you only have one shot, right? We all have people we've loved and lost. Would you go back and find a passed on loved one that you didn't properly get to say goodbye to? Like those type of memories come back to me. I've got just grandparents that were amazing that have passed on that I would just love to be able to be in contact with one more time. And so something like that, I could see that. I think if I had to do one wish like that, one time travel, it would be something like that. Go back to a spot where all of my passed on grandparents were in one spot together and be able to spend that afternoon with them, something like that. That would be amazing. But yeah, so I don't know. Good thing, like I said, we don't have a ton of these decisions looming in front of us because as far as I'm aware, time travel isn't real. Well, I mean, I guess unless you ask the TikTokers, then then I guess it may be real. But as we wind this up and finish this, that's what's on my mind tonight. A little bit of time travel, a little bit of TikTok, a little bit of weirdness, a little bit of, mental gymnastics, a little bit of consciousness, a little bit of all of this. And I think more importantly, right, the decision right there, if you're given a one shot at time travel and you start thinking about where or when you might go or both, is it, I don't know, does it start to reveal things about yourself? And all right, so we are basically out of time. So hang on, Jack. Jack's calling back in, so we're going to go to Jack in just a sec. But here's the deal. I'm going to play some outro music. We're going to wrap this up on Fringe, and we're going to keep on trucking because we got a third hour of Troubled Minds coming up. So right now, we're done. If you're listening to us on the Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. If you're listening to us on the podcast feed, I was going to say TikTok, Facebook, D-Live, YouTube, or Periscope, hang tight for a third hour of Troubled Minds. We're not going anywhere. Still taking your phone calls, still talking about time travel. So as we finish up the night, thanks again for spending your time with us. I know you could be doing a million things right now, and you're here with us having a conversation. I'm honored by that. Each and every one of you out there listening, thank you so much. You do make my world go round, and hopefully we can get together and learn some things and stretch our imaginations and share our beautiful consciousness with other people. I appreciate that a lot. Thanks for all the great calls tonight. Thanks for all the great, thoughtful chat. And we're done. So the bad news is we're finished. The good news is we'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific, God willing. God willing. And as we finish, be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night. All right, guys, you know the drill. We got one more hour of Troubled Minds, so we're still taking your phone calls. We got Jack on the line. Thanks for hanging tight, Jack. We'll get to you in just a moment. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break. So, as we finish this part anyway, the first couple hours, the Fringe segments, we got a third hour, commercial free, and we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. I still have more actual time travel to get to and some of these stories. Tons of stuff to cover, but as always, I'd rather hear from you guys. Do you think this stuff is real? Do you think time travel is just a bunch of clickbait, TikTok clickbait? Or is it something else entirely? Is it real? And if you had one chance at time travel and could suspend your disbelief, what would you do? Where would you go? And there we go. Good night, guys who are checking out. We do have a third hour, if you didn't know. And good night. We'll see you tomorrow at 7. Otherwise, we're going to go for a third hour. So we got Jack on the line. Everybody, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. 2-minute break. More Troubled Minds. After the break, we'll be right back. Hang tight, Jack. Be right with you, my friend. right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I think that's 2 minutes, close enough. I got plenty of beer. I'm good to go, and we got Jack waiting on the line. So if you're just joining us, we are talking about time travel tonight. And the question for the evening is this: if time travel were real, suspend your disbelief. Where would you go given one choice, one chance to travel anywhere in time and a safe trip back? Where would you go and why? We had some great ones tonight. Derek and Austin said Atlantis or the earliest civilization you could find. We had Robert say JFK, save JFK, because he thinks that that very moment altered our timeline in a major way that probably was for the negative. And lots of good thoughts tonight. Lots of good stuff considering. Well, if there was time travel, do you think there's an adjustment bureau type thing from Philip K. Dick, sort of like time cops that chase people around to keep them from changing timelines? Or do you think it wouldn't be possible at all? All kinds of that is on deck. That's what we're talking about tonight. Let's go to Jack. Jack in Wisconsin. Thanks for waiting, my friend. How are you tonight?
Hey, Mike, we're in the third hour, right?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead. Let it rip.
So we're uncensored?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Buck, yeah. Hey, I just wanted to, I'm sorry I called in early because I was trying to call in for the third hour just to make sure, like, in case I, dropped the F-bomb or something.
Gotcha.
I wasn't going to get penalized.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I'm sorry about that. I dropped the call.
Okay, you're good. About that. You're good. No problem at all. All good, my friend. So what do you think about the time travel stuff? Are we completely off the rails here?
Hey.
Or what's going on with all that?
Hey, you're basically throwing out there, you were saying, like, if you wanted to time travel, where could you time travel to, and what would you do, right?
Exactly.
So that's kind of the synopsis of what you're getting at.
Yep, that's the question.
I wanted to say, like, when I was young, I was very young, and these two albums came out. They were Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. They were like a double album, but you had to buy them separately. This is back in the day. I was very young.
I remember it.
And
well. I remember.
I need to get enough money to get these two CDs, right? So I traded this one guy, who was like my sister's age, which was like maybe 4 years younger or something like that, 5 years younger. He was pretty young, right? I traded this guy like a bunch of cassettes so I can get some money so I can buy these Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 because I love these Guns N' Roses, right? But I traded him a bunch of like very hardcore metal albums, right? And this kid was like, he had to be like 12, 13 years old or something. He was probably not old enough to, like be able to deal with this kind of like metal that I was like unleashing on him, right? Like, and he gave me this money. I wanted to travel back in time to keep from doing this deal with this guy because this guy went on a couple years later to end up knifing somebody that I knew, like personally, like this girl. He went on to killing her, and I felt bad about that because I was like thinking like, well, I know people say like video games, they're violent or whatever, but people don't take them into real life or whatever. But I feel like because I gave this guy like a bunch of like hardcore death metal albums, like when he was like too young to handle it, I always felt like very guilty about it, that he went on to, stab this girl. And it's like, I actually knew the girl, like I was friends with him, with her sister, with her brother, rather. And, I felt really bad about that. And it's like, after that had happened, I was like, oh, man, I felt really guilty about that. Because I was like, man, if I never gave him those death metal albums, maybe he might not have gone on to do what he did. And I felt really bad about that. And I really felt like I had, like, something to do about it, by giving him this stuff, like, and he was way too young to like handle it. But I wanted to get those Guns N' Roses albums, so I wanted to get some money so I can get the double album.
Hell yeah, man!
So it was like,
November rain, bro. November rain. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so if I could go back in time, like, I know everybody's like, oh yeah, I'd go back in time and stop JFK, or I'd stop, whatever from happening or whatever. It's like I'd stop like something I know that I could stop for sure personally from doing, that would maybe cause like some hardship from a lot of people. Like, if I could do that personally, I think like people should look personally, like in their life, like, oh man, if this didn't happen, like maybe it wouldn't have spun out of control into this and this and this and this. That's how I look at it. It's like, man, if I wouldn't have given this guy a bunch of death metal albums at 13, he was probably too young for that stuff.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's
and then all of a sudden
that's
it
noble.
spun out, and he.
Jack, that's noble as hell, my friend. Now look, I'm gonna tell you this: it's that thing is not your fault, because think of it this way, right? Do you think? And I believe this to be the case, right? Maybe the circumstances may have been different, but this guy was going to do what he was going to do no matter what, right? Meaning that
I don't know.
Maybe. Well, okay. For instance,
I feel like I could go back. I feel like I could go back, and if I would have never traded him those albums, and he would have never listened to those hardcore like death metal albums at like 13, 14, 15, he might not have like kind of gone onto that path or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at all, it kills me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because I might have messed up like two people's lives. Like one girl, she got killed, and like the other guy, he ends up in jail or whatever for how many years. And it's like, that might have been just because I gave this guy a bunch of cassettes. That I was looking
that's
to.
what I'm saying, though. So,
get rid of because I want to get the Guns N' Roses albums.
I get it, man. I get it. But listen to me. I promise you, that is not your fault. Right? It's not your fault. Like, he was a disturbed individual, and I'm not so sure that what you did triggered him to become what he became. All right? So, like I said, it's a noble thought, because you're like, hey, look, in the periphery of things, this may have been, I may have had something to do with this, and I would, whatever I could do to take it back, I would take it back. But you know that this guy, had he not gotten whatever he got from you, he'd have got something similar from somebody else, right? This is what I'm saying. It's like, those are the types of things. Like I said, I love you, man, for thinking that way. I'm just telling you, this was not your fault. It's just not, man. It's not. Music doesn't break people. It doesn't break people. All right. Like, I feel you. I understand what you're saying and where you're going with this. And I appreciate the thought. Like I said, the sentiment is really, really kind of you, kind-hearted of you, that if you could fix a mess you thought you made, even if you didn't make it, you'd still take that chance to maybe fix it. And like I said, it's a beautiful thought, my friend.
Well, hey, Mike, can I give a shout out? I don't want to give a shout out to the dude, but can I give a shout out to the girl? Her name is Renee Redmer. She's from Waukesha, Wisconsin. I just want to say I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
If I had anything to do with it.
Absolutely, man.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Or whenever.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional.
You're cool, man.
Right,
I appreciate the call. I appreciate the call. Thank you, Jack. Good, noble stuff, right? Like I said, it's very, very emotional there. Thank you for the call. This is what I'm saying, right? Like, we can't, I promise you, Jack, it's not your fault. Here's why. Matt right here saying the same thing. I listen to death metal at that age, and I'm okay. Right? And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, we try and, right, like, put ourselves in the position of fault when things are not. And like I said, even if the possibility is there, you're willing to take that chance. If you only had one chance to go take it back, you would. And like I said, it's very thoughtful, very kind-hearted of you, and thank you for the call. Thank you for sharing that story. All right, so let's do it. We're going to go with HB. HB is on a Discord. What's up, HB? You're on Trouble Minds with Mike. How are you tonight? Testing 1 2. So basically, all you have to do is unmute yourself, and you should be able to be. Yeah. So you should be good. You should be good. Just activate your microphone on Discord, and that should do it. I heard you.
Is that me?
That's you. HB.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize.
You're
okay,
good.
I'm sorry. Can you hear? Are you getting feedback or anything? Because I'm just on a regular phone. Okay, great.
Loud and clear.
So this is the way I look at it. So classically, when we're dealing with time travel as so far a fiction, we're talking about our actual real life. Time travel doesn't exist yet, does it? Whoa, I don't want to get ahead of the story, right? Like, we're talking about the TikTokers, right?
Oh,
okay.
Right.
So imagine, like, we have number lines where we ascribe certain features to a number line. Like, this is only integers up to this point, and then from this segment on, it also is the full natural number set, and things like that, right? We could look into our history and say, here's a point where there was no time travel. Here's a point where there is time travel. And this was familiarized in the Looper movie. Have you seen Looper with the guy and the dude?
Yeah, the guy from Star Wars, right? I haven't seen it.
Right. I don't know what that guy. I don't know. Was he in that? It had the guy in the Christmas movie. And so Looper had this premise that, okay, yeah, you can send people back, but they only get as far back as the time, up to the date the first time machine was turned on. Which is interesting, because we might actually be able to do something like that with a reverse time transmission of information that uses quantum entanglement and Bose-Einstein condensates to slow down quantum entangled photons so that they stay in stasis long enough for us to preserve the effect of quantum entanglement across time, which we have already observed within microseconds, because, these things are moving fast, they're photons. But so what I want to do, I want to get into the troubled mind sort of mindset and say, how is this useful information to us? And I'm going to bring it back to technology, but first I want to go to organics.
Sure.
So recently, neuroscientists working with quantum physicists found quantum entangled photons in the human mind, like excited across gaps in the synapses. So we have some sort of like thing happening with it, quantum entanglement in our brains. So are we naturally clairvoyant? And do we need an artificial apparatus to actually get this sort of thing done?
And I think that's where the science meets the woo, if you know what I'm saying. Because if entanglement exists in our brain at that level, then the answer is no. We probably don't need an apparatus. We probably just need a way to reach whatever it is we need to reach with the entanglement from our brain to whatever else we need to communicate with or what have you. But yeah, so I think the answer would be organically no. But again, we're not there yet. As far as I'm aware, we're not there yet.
Right, yeah. We're not there yet artificially. But we could be talking about a species that has evolved this ability way back before Tartaria, Sumeria, any other sort of ancient civilization we still have some unoccluded record of. And I wonder, wouldn't it be most likely that first we'll develop a simple transmission piece, and here's why. Okay, so I'm bringing that back around because I'm thinking our ability to send things back in time might be truncated through conservation of information. And a lot of people are like, well, there's conservation of energy. It's always obeyed by the universe. Well, not too many decades ago, information itself was tied over to energy as also having rules of conservation that are almost identical. Are you familiar with that sort of thing? Where like Hawking radiation is information that is like expelled from black holes, where black holes are devouring matter that's orderly on one level of orderliness versus entropy, and then what they're expunging out of their back end is on the opposite end of the spectrum, so the equal and opposite reaction, right? And then he was proven to be correct about it. This Hawking radiation is spewing out of black holes one way, and then they're gobbling up things that are natural and ordered, like spheres and atoms, material things in one end. So I'm thinking, so if we actually were to come roundabout and defeat paradox by simply having a point in time where from here forward we say, well, we actually do have this technology, it actually does exist, then would it just change so black holes just fart a little harder or a little more chaotically? Is that what would happen?
That's a good question. But then, so you're talking about like the point in time where we can't go back further because the point in time where the time machine was created, right? That's the point you're saying, kind of locks in. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so we can only go forward from that point, not back. And so as a result of that, it's a kind of like a hard stop on time itself on our timeline.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know.
Right. So like the whole question of paradox would get thrown out because all paradox only applied to when that didn't exist. Now that it does exist, the whole paradox thing, you could just toss it away. You could say, what paradox? Now that we do have a loop coming back, it's just here. It's like a bull in a china shop. It exists now, and here's how our temporaneity or our subtemporal complex or whatever we would come to term it to try to cram it into our brains and wrap our heads around it. It just is this way now. Now we do receive information from the future, and there's no paradox. Yeah, now you do change the events of the future, and the future already knows you were going to do it, and that's why they sent the message back. And so we lose all that former history where we didn't have time travel going into the past, specifically that kind. We didn't have that, and so yes, if that was to occur, there would have been a huge paradox with the dinosaurs or JFK or something. Heck no. But going into the future, after we actually develop this technology, it's just going to be commonplace. We're going to be you'll live through receiving messages and changing things for the better or the worse or whatever is going on multiple times in your own lifetime. Doesn't that seem rational?
Yeah, well, assuming, time travel's real. It seems totally rational, bro. I'm with you 100%. But we're taking steps that aren't even within. Probably not. I mean, there's always the odd chance that maybe somebody out there has a working time machine. I doubt it, but there's always the off chance, right? But
when you say out there, I think of in the vast future where we've figured out how to entangle these quantum particles and make it so like you turn on this machine and maybe a few seconds later you're getting a text like hold on, and then a couple minutes later you're getting a text from it that's like, okay, before we do any scientific stuff, you have to go and talk to this certain person and say a certain thing. And the scientists in the lab are just like, well, I guess this is what we got ourselves into. And that's just natural life from then on. They try to control it. You're talking about like the time cops and stuff. I think it would first be controlled by the institutions that develop reverse time information transmission. And then what will happen is eventually somebody up in the future, way down the line, will send a message way back. They might be sending it over the equivalent of like frayed copper cords. They'll be sending it back and they'll be like, oh, we figured out how to send materials back. And then things will change into that level. I mean, if that's where we're really going, just keep in mind, there are supposedly infinite universes, right? Why would anybody say we're not in the universe where reverse time transmission of information and then eventually through entropy and motion and matter and energy, it becomes matter at some point that gets sent back in time? So why wouldn't we just say maybe this is the one where we're in?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Is as the odds are as good as any timeline where this could be the truth?
Right.
I mean, I think it's speaking randomly. I mean,
sorry to hand you a big nothing, but I'm just shrugging my shoulders. I don't even have TikTok on my phone. I don't know what's going on out there.
Well, you're probably better for it, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, the funny thing is, like I said, the virality of this stuff, 3.1 billion views of hashtag time travel on TikTok. It's facepalm, right? It's like, come on, really?
3.1 billion?
Right,
billion with a B?
Yeah, billion. 3.1 billion with a B. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like, come on, guys. Holy shit. Like, can we be a little more productive than this? But think about
I know.
it.
I'm glad humanity. What is it? Roughly 1/3 of humanity, right? Roughly 1/3 of humanity has found one common hobby to be able to relate to one another. Maybe find some semblance of peace amongst ourselves.
with some leisurely TikTok time traveling. Yeah, man. So hold on.
So it's gotta add that it is the leisurely class that's doing it, isn't it? I mean, heck, I don't want to get too much into current events, but I mean, there are people falling off of airplanes out there that are more well dressed than the goat shepherds that they live amongst. So I don't know, man. There are crazy things going on in the world.
That's for sure.
I'd never heard of this unless it was for your show, and I'm very entertained by it, and I thank you for having me on.
Nice. I appreciate it. Anything else while we got you on here tonight? Good stuff.
I ain't got much to add. Sorry.
All right, appreciate it. HB, you're the man. Good stuff as always.
you know you, Mike. You. All right. Yeah. Hey, and a shout out to I just learned his name isn't spelt like the Night Stalker. He's the Night Stalker.
Yeah, it's like he works in a grocery store. He's the actual Night Stalker.
Yes. That's etiquette. That's so great. I love it.
Right.
All right.
Thanks,
all right, I'm gonna let you go, man.
Thanks, man. HB,
Bye.
I'm moving you out. Have a good night, man. There you go. Simple as that. You guys want to be on the show? Fantastic stuff from HB. Thanks for calling in tonight. And the thing is, right, like, what's going on with this? Good take on that. Okay, so if we have time travel going forward, right, like we said, the hard stop is Einstein said that, Stephen Hawking actually said that, I think it was Einstein actually, said that once the time machine is created, there's no going back beyond that timeline, all right? No going back, only going forward, because that's when the time machine was created, because that's what builds the loop, you see? So that's basically how this works. And good looking forward on HB there on his part, in my opinion, because if there are time cops, there would actually be some sort of time authority making sure there were no time shenanigans back to the time of the actual time machine when it was created, right? So meaning that if we're not there yet, let's say just by let's say 50 years from now, they create a time machine for CERN. Let's say CERN pulls it off or something, right? They find the God particle, right? They find the Cthulhu particle, right? And they're able to just fire a thing and create a wormhole that allows us to move forward in time. Well, in that case, that point there is the lock. We cannot go further back in time than that moment of the time machine creation, unless another type of time machine was built, right? Then maybe. But good stuff by HB. I love the thoughts there. Fantastic stuff as always. But yeah, I don't know. This is the stuff we're thinking about tonight. And like I said, I'll get into some of this other stuff if you guys prefer. I got some time traveler stories and some other stuff to kind of add to the conversation. But you see what happens when amazing people call in and give good thought to the topics we're talking about. So if you guys have a take on this, you want to be part of the show, we're still taking your calls. We got a good half an hour left or so, and we can, we're going to keep on doing it. We're going to keep on trucking. Lots to talk about, lots to think about, and I appreciate all of the amazing calls thus far. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Go to troubledminds.org, and you can click the Discord link and be on the show that way. And easy as that. Talking about time travel tonight. What about the time cops? You tell me. Do you think they exist? Do you think they will exist? Do you think there's some sort of adjustment bureau that is actually looking out for the past timelines to make sure nobody pulls some shenanigans? Who knows, right? Who knows? Yeah, Jay's got it right. HB, wow, just wow. Yeah, we got great minds that listen to this show. Lots and lots of smart people. All right, so I don't know what's up with Austin. You still there? You're in the caller queue. I'm not sure if you're trying to get back on the show or what's up, my friend.
Hey, howdy.
You're back on the show.
Am I on the show?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you were trying to, but you're still in the caller queue. So I thought maybe you had something else to add, or. You tell me.
Yeah, the live's a little behind on the YouTube, but yeah, I was trying to get back. I was hearing the question about the space police.
Yeah. So what about the space police, the time police, the time cops?
I've seen a few different arts trying to perceive that idea. It was on South Park, the space cops. I don't know if you've seen that one. It was on Jupiter Ascending. Eyes Wide Shut was like a different perception of it. That's more like from our perspective. And then there was that one other movie that you were just talking about.
Yeah, The Adjustment Bureau. Philip K. Dick. He wrote that short story.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that mixed with like, so the Jupiter Ascending was like these guys that they kind of remind you of like some kind of like Saturnian order and they ruled on many planets, and they always kept like the time in check, you know, and like on Mars, like it goes between Earth and Mars. Like, I think they're more like the Jupiter Ascending thing with a twist of the Adjustment Bureau, and with a good twist of the Adjustment Bureau, like both of them. I feel like they aren't as strong as we think they are.
Meaning they don't have as firm a hold on the timeline? Or
yeah, I feel like it all relies on illusion, and that's what keeps us from being able to break out of it.
So we're trapped. So you're saying we're trapped, and we're basically heading the direction they want us to head because they've set it up just so.
Yeah, and it's a B word to really set yourself like hermetically in such a way to be able to even fight them, because you would have to literally be clairvoyant, because in the movie Jupiter Ascending, they can turn invisible, and right before they kill you, they have to appear though. And so it's like really like a little sketchy, like they can corner you in a place and just take you away, like your body too, you would be gone.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen Jupiter Ascending. I keep hearing it brought up though in reference to this type of stuff. Is it? What would you give it out of 10? 10 stars? 8 stars? Is it really good?
Oh my gosh! Well, yeah. The only reason I heard of it, I would say like 10 out of 10. The only reason I heard of it was on League Project, when this guy that knew the Balnjowski sisters, the director of that. I don't know what the name of them, their director is, but they released 3 movies that were like supposedly he claimed were banned by Hollywood. So I was like, oh, I got to see it. He was like John Carter from Mars, Jupiter Ascending, and there was one other one, and I can't remember that one, but I've watched them all.
That's The Matrix, right? The Wachowskis. The Matrix? No.
Oh yeah. No, I don't know if I don't think The Matrix is banned. Have a butter night, gentlemen. Oh my God, sorry about that. That was
right.
reflex.
That's all right. You're good. You're good. Yeah, no,
Shoot,
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
I
Is it the same directors though? It's the same directors that made The Matrix?
Yeah, it was about. It was a little different. I can't really remember a lot of it. I felt like I got something out of all of them. But if you want to like go on a time like weekend and just watch a bunch of time movies, I would have to say like the Back to the Futures, get some Jupiter Ascending, get some John Carter from Mars. And actually, oh my God, I think I mixed John Carter from Mars with Jupiter Ascending when I was telling you about the guys. Yeah, I got that from the other movie.
Okay, I see.
And Adjustment Bureau and Eyes Wide Shut, because that gives you like a kind of view of how they could like hide in plain sight. And then I think that's it. That's all I'm thinking about. Can you think of any good time travel movies, like where they try to like make something out of it?
Time Bandits. That's probably before your time, my friend. Time Bandits.
Yeah, do you know what? I might look into that one. I don't think I've seen that one.
That's from the early 80s. It's maybe late 70s, and it's kind of a crappy movie, but they time travel. They time travel.
Like crappy is in terms of like the tools that they had to make the movie, but the acting was like on a kind of a free market level, you know? Like
yeah, exactly.
Kind of stuff.
Exactly. Like it's kind of crappy technology. The acting is kind of miserable because it's more like you'll see when you see the cast. It's like they sort of it's typecast very much, very much so. And but it is amusing. It's worth a watch. It's an old schooler, but it's worth a watch. And let's see. Matt is actually saying in the chat, Time Cops are a kids cartoon. Gravity Falls. And I don't know about that. Do you know what he's talking about? Or in a kids cartoon?
No, I'm gonna have. What is it called? Time Cops?
Yeah, Time Cops are in a kid's cartoon. Gravity Falls is what he says. He's actually on the phone next, so we'll get it. We'll get an actual explanation from him shortly. But yeah, I haven't heard of that either. As you know, I spend way too much time doing this, so I don't spend enough time kind of catching up on movies and things I should see. So I'm guilty of that, unfortunately. But yeah.
Oh yeah, there's another movie if people can read subtitles super fast, or if they know French, then they don't have to. It's called The Green Beautiful. I could actually post that in the show chat. It's like on BitChute. The Crow House posted it. That was like that kind of gives you a different idea of what our minds could do. It would add an interesting twist to someone's journey in exploring the idea of time travel.
Gotcha.
Because it goes back to like the naturalist idea of how we're supposed to work together. It kind of makes fun of how we make our food and stuff. It's kind of a comedy. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's cool. All good. So that's in the Discord, guys. If you want to, if you haven't joined the Discord yet, here's your prompt: troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Go ahead and back us up, Austin. There's a conversation going on in that damn Discord all the damn time, isn't there? Lots of people in there chatting it up. Sometimes we hang out and
really
kick it just like this in voice, right? Sometimes we just do our thing and hang out like this. Yeah, Austin's been.
And it doesn't.
Go ahead.
It doesn't matter what your views are. Like, we're very accepting. Everyone in there is really accepting, especially Mike. Like, whatever view you have on the world, if you're whatever, like, I'm not even going to say all the titles. All right, you can make up your own, and you'll probably get along fine.
There you go. That's what it's all about. It's all about being you, and as long as you're pointing in the right direction and trying to be a better person, then you are definitely welcome in this chat. So we do have calls behind you. So final thought while we got you on here, my friend.
Franz Barden, Initiation into Hermetics. If you got the time, it might be worth some practicing to get your mind in line so you can fight the space cops.
Okay, there you go.
Yep.
Can you link that for us as
well? Yeah, I can leak it. I just feel like I should probably put a disclaimer there. It's your choice to read the book. It's not like super scary. It's a hard work. It's a training manual for the mind to practice the mental extension through like exercises, practice. So it's really hard. If you can't put like each skill, you got to practice it up to 3 hours to be able to master it, move on to the next one. And if you read ahead in the book, you might be blown away at some of the things it says you're going to end up doing. But if you can make it past the second step, then you're already ahead of 90% of the population, which you need some extra time. You need to take a vacation and put like 3 minutes a day, every day, put little pockets of time in your life to invest in trying to practice focusing your mind. And that's pretty much how it goes. It's not no woo-hoo Hollywood crap. Oh crap, I put in the wrong thing. It's a lot more blunt than it basically kills Hollywood's idea of what magic is, because it's just exercise, really. And I think there's just something to what he knew that might actually be how the people in Green Beautiful did what they did. And they would probably have to go through all the steps to do what they did, in my opinion. I think there might be something to it. And they might have even went a step or two past that, because, I don't know. That movie's a little out there, but there's a lot we don't know about our minds. And I feel like putting some time into really doing the meditation exercises, which is like working out with your physical body, but not your mental, might get you some. You might feel a little isolated when you make it past the third step, because you're going to be able to. I started seeing things when I made it past the third step, so I kind of stopped messing with that book, because I was like, all right, like my intention was to see things what other people can't see and to try to make a positive impact, but I didn't feel I was ready when I started doing that, because I felt like if I talked about it with anyone, I would be put in like a mental hospital. So that scared me.
Gotcha. Well, you're on the right spot for that. We're all special in our own right. Let's say that here at Troubled Minds. I appreciate it, Austin. You're the best. Looking forward to talking to you soon. Okay, and we got Matt right behind you on the phone.
All right, good deal.
Thanks, brother.
Peace out.
Talk to you soon. All right, there we go. That's Austin, and he's in actually Michigan, Austin in Michigan. So fantastic stuff. Like, look, this is what I'm saying, right? You never know what you expect on this show. Sometimes I start and we go, yeah, it doesn't seem to be very many people interested, and then suddenly, boom, 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 like bomb after bomb after bomb of amazing things, and yeah, this is crazy. Good stuff. Thank you for the call, Austin. Let's go to Matt. Matt in California. What's up, my friend? Welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. How's it going, Mike?
Doing very well. What do you think about time travel, my man?
Good. Yeah, good topic. There's a lot of stuff.
Thank you.
Lots of pop culture references, but I'm going to say from the beginning what you said. What would I do if I went back in time? And that would, honestly, it would be to go back to like ancient Egypt and learn like old knowledge from then, because there's something going on there, and then bring it back and like blow your guys' minds with what I know. But just funny stuff too is like go back in time and like punch yourself for smoking your first cigarette, or
knock it out of your hand.
Like give your old self like a picture of your wife and like marry this girl when you see her. Funny things like that. But that would like change the timeline.
Right. What would it though?
Like doing little things like that.
Would it though? Because if you married her anyway, it wouldn't change a thing, would it? It would just kind of lock the vision into your head. Though it might jinx it, right? Right? Who knows?
Yeah, changing the timeline is the problem, and that's what a lot of pop culture movies and stuff. It tells you, not to do it, because you never know what, like sneezing on a bug. That could change the whole.
Right.
From the like prehistoric area.
The butterfly effect or whatever.
Like
yeah.
That could change everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of pop culture references, like in Back to the Future, because that's a time traveling movie. Do you know about the Twin Pines Mall and the Lone Pine Mall?
No. Is it different?
Yeah. So it's a thing. It's a time traveling thing. So like Marty McFly in the beginning of the movie, he goes to the mall where it all goes down. And it's the Twin Pines Mall. And in the past, he goes back to the past. He runs over. He's like getting away in the DeLorean, and he runs over like a small tree. And there's two trees. He runs one over. And then he goes back to the future. When he goes back to save Doc at the mall, it's the Lone Pine Mall.
Okay, so the name actually changed. Interesting.
Yeah, the name of the mall changed, and the picture, from two trees to one tree. So there's all kinds of little, like, if you look at, like, Back to the Future, like, there's, like, loophole, problems in it. When you talk about these movies, there's, like, always going to be something like, oh, they didn't think that through.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, they didn't know how much money they'd make in the first one to the second one or whatever. Or,
yeah.
Well,
that's a time traveling movie. That's a time traveling movie, so there's all kinds of like loopholes and weird stuff that you have to look into it.
Right, exactly. So with the time traveling back, if you had one chance to do it, you'd just do something goofy. You go knock the cigarette out of your hand or something like that. You don't have any like thing you do? Go visit like a passed away family member?
No, I'd go back and learn knowledge.
Kill baby Hitler?
No, I'd go back and learn the knowledge.
Knowledge of like Night Stalker and Austin were saying, sort of Atlantis, that type of like ancient esoteric knowledge?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
That makes sense. Nice. Yeah, HB says, wait, are we all saying the same thing? Kinda, just in different ways. Kinda. Yeah, but what do you think? What do you think, Matt? Do you think that regarding our timeline, and do you think there's some like breakaway civilization or whatever out there that has possibly a time machine? Some have speculated that Donald Trump was a time traveler with that Ingersoll Lockwood stuff and all this other business. Do you think this something like that could exist, or do you think there's just a bunch of hogwash at this point?
That's a good one. Like I said, it's infinite possibilities that could have happened. I mean, look at The Simpsons. They like are like telling the future all the time. So it's like there's a thing. It's like the creator from The Simpsons is a time traveler.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's a good point. And so if that guy Matt Groening was a time traveler, and he put too much truth in The Simpsons, right? If he called the time, if he did it all the damn time every day, he was predicting the future. They'd probably arrest the dude, right? They'd probably be like, dude, the time cops, no, we wouldn't even need time cops. They'd just come get him. So to disguise the fact that he would be a time traveler, he would have to kind of sprinkle it in. He wouldn't be able to do it every episode, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense to me. Because, yeah, interesting stuff. So you're open to the possibility. Probably not, but it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the problem with it is that the more like time traveling that goes on, the more, if you, like I said, if you change the timeline, we would notice. Or, you know, like, stuff would be changing all the time because of if people were going back in time and changing things, it would change the timeline.
Yeah, and we would notice. I would even argue that maybe right now was the creation of the time machine, or maybe in the last 4 or 5 or 6 years, because it's gone off the rails, right? The world has been nuts the last 5 or 6 years. So maybe they just discovered it and they're figuring out the hard stop mechanisms and all this, and they're like, I know, let's make Donald Trump president and see what happens. And right, I mean, there's a ton of stuff that's gone down that's just been super bizarre these last several years. Yeah, who knows, man. Good stuff. So what else you got for us, man?
Lots of pop culture references. Gravity Falls, it's a kids cartoon, but it has like stuff we like esoteric messages and like mysteries in it. And there's a part, they travel back in time, they get caught by the time cops, and the time cops have like a measuring tape and tape measure, and they like pull it out. It's like 5 seconds or 5 years or whatever, and then they let go of it and it snaps back, and that's how they time travel.
Interesting.
They're stopping people from doing stupid things.
Okay, all right. So they've written it into cartoons now. Nice.
Yeah, it's in cartoons.
Nice. I love it.
Lots of pop culture.
Yeah. Good. I mean, go ahead.
Another show I watched. It's an older show. It's called The Crossing, and it was about people in the they find this they're out in the water and they find this girl floating in the water, and they give her CPR, and they look out and they see all these people are floating in the water, some are dead or some are alive, and they're like, what's going on? Was there a plane crash or a boat crash? No. And it turns out that the people were they built a time machine and they were jumping back in time to get away. I'm not trying to spoil it, but get away from the monster that was fighting him. They would try to jump back in time before to stop it. And when they jump back in time, 60 years or whatever, they jump back in time to the bottom of the ocean. And they all were just instantly drowned in the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, right.
So there's all kinds of problems with time traveling.
Yeah. Well, not only that. So part of what actually made me think about it too is there's an article that came out, and for the life of me, I couldn't find it. I saw it a couple 3 days ago, and I bookmarked it somewhere, and I couldn't find the damn. I searched for it, I couldn't find it. But it was basically a discussion of time travel. If you did go back to, let's say, the Roman times, our immune system isn't set up for that world. So all of our antibodies are for current stuff, and the stuff that was running amok back then, we'd probably instantly get croaked if we didn't have a spacesuit to keep us away from the germs. And so it was kind of an interesting thought experiment there, just kind of discussing how our immune systems work, how the modern one we have wouldn't work back then, and vice versa. And so they were calling it a time traveler paradox for viruses, right? Kind of in the virus world. So fantastic stuff, man. All of this it just kind of makes you think in so many number of ways, right? Yeah, that's why we do this, man.
Yeah, I love thinking about it and talking about it.
Yeah, totally.
But there's all kinds of problems with time travel, not just the scientific figuring it out, but like the consequences, the consequences of our lives.
Right, exactly. And we'll keep on. We're going to pay close attention to the news cycle, and I have a feeling we'll know when that time machine is built. Right, we'll start to notice some really weird shit starting to happen. And hopefully we can report back. I appreciate it, Matt. You're the best. Thanks for the call. Talk to you soon, my man.
Have a good night.
Thanks, you too. Great stuff. Look at that. Great stuff. So many good calls. We're still taking your phone calls. We got Rolf we're going to go to next. We got Jay for the J-Tro coming up. If you guys want to be part of the show, we got time for you. We can squeeze you in. 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. Let's go to Rolf. Rolf in New York. Welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Mike, how you doing, my brother?
Fantastic, my man. Go right ahead. What's on your mind about time travel tonight?
Doing good here in time. Well, here's my thing about it. Tesla, he drafted up some things about a time machine or something. I know the story, but I don't want to get deep in it. And was it Trump's great-grandfather or grandfather took it all, CIA or something? But Philadelphia experiment, weren't they trying to experiment with cloaking a ship?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
right? They stumbled upon time and space.
Yeah, it went into a portal. Yeah, it went into a portal of sorts and time traveled, not just time, but also space. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's deep, right? Because if you look at what's going on in the past, I don't know, our lifetime or so, if they have this ability to travel in time and alter time, have they been playing it like you said? Oh, let's make Trump president, see what happens. Thank God they didn't make Hillary because they probably already knew what would happen. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know about that. They would have played. They would have played nice with her, even if everybody hated her. It turned out everybody hated Trump more. Well, I'm not going to say
right.
everybody.
Well, they made people hate Trump more.
Exactly.
I mean, Trump is just he's just an egotistical, self-centered billionaire. I mean,
right.
But the thing is, now we have this guy Biden, and well, fuck politics. But the thing is, time is space, and space is time, and we're all living it. And I want to correlate it with what I was talking about, I think last week: alternate realities, alternate worlds, alternate lives. It's like if they're messing with time and space, are they messing with the alternate realities that we're all in? Or does it create the alternate realities?
Exactly. So it depends on how that string theory bit works. When the Night Stalker called in earlier, Derek in Massachusetts, he was saying that if every choice that's made peels off another reality in string theory, what do those choices consist of? Are they conscious choices from our own mind? Or is it like he described, every time you drop a water bottle and it could bounce left or could bounce right, that splits an entirely new timeline, right? What kind of moments
creates a new timeline?
Yeah. What kind of moments would create those? Because if it's as simple as something like that, those tiny moments, holy shit, man! Like we're living in a tangled mess already. It's a mess.
There's a word for that, I think, right?
Clusterfuck?
Singular mess.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's a singular tangular mess, right?
Is that what it's called? Singular tangular mess?
I don't know.
Oh, I've never
somebody
heard that.
had said that the best thing about time is that we can sit back and observe the differences that were made in time.
Okay.
By time travelers, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I have no idea. Crazy stuff here. And again, right? So what do you think? Do you think we live in a time where a time machine has been created, or do you think we're not there yet?
I have a strong feeling that we are living in a time where they have created a time machine, but they don't quite understand it because they're still playing with it. You know what I mean? They're still experimenting with it, and now they can see that they have this power to change time, that in their time, in our time. And I think it's gone, like you said, it's gone out of control. It's where, I don't know, the creators maybe got to step in and say, hey, kids, come on, get off that bike, Just keep going that way,
That's the time cops, man. That's the Adjustment Bureau. They're going to have to come back from the future and smack us down. Quit messing with stuff, guys. yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And here's another thing I have thought about is, okay, you know how they say when you go back in time, you can change the future, right? Depending if you go back. But what if you don't change the future? You just change it for that time, but it doesn't change it for all time. You know what I mean?
Meaning that particular reality, and there is no string theory. What do you mean? Clarify, please.
Yeah, like say you go back in time. Say I go back in time and I say, Michael Strange, you're not going to be able. You know, I keep you from doing your show. You know, I say, Michael, I'm shutting you down. I'm going to take your mic away or something. Take a wire away or something. It's going to just throw you off.
Just every day. Every day you show up and steal my wire, you bastard. All right.
Yeah. But at the same time, is it really going to change the future or just change that time I'm in, changing that time? Like, I'm just taking that wire. You're not going to go on for that night. Doesn't mean you're going to go on. You're not go on for the rest of time. You know what I mean?
Right. Because I would fix it, right? So I'd be like, what the hell? This is here. It's gone. Now I'm going to go fix my wire. So maybe your meddling had no effect other than I missed a show. Something like that, right?
Yes, exactly. Okay. It's like I just messed with that wire. I took that wire away, but you caught onto it and said, oh, shit, I put another wire in there. It didn't alter your whole time for the future. See, we're taught that, or told that if we mess with time, it's going to mess up time. Like if I go back and kill Hitler, is that going to stop what he did? Maybe not.
Maybe not.
It might only stop that moment.
Or even that, it might allow somebody else worse to step in and do twice as bad as he did. So, I mean, that's the thing, right? So we don't know. I think that's the thing. You know, I think that's God type questions, meaning that you kind of meddle in stuff like that. And the flow of time, can you stop it? Can you change it? Can you, like they say, it's like throwing a pebble into a river. The river keeps on trucking. It doesn't give a damn about that pebble. It's just a single blip for just a single second. And that's what you're talking about. You stole my wire in the river of time, but I fixed it tomorrow, and the river kept on flowing. Yeah, I like the idea, man.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so many string theories or so many possibilities of everything that it's just incredible. And I think there's a balance or some like a time cop or time police or creators that just keep it within that bubble. You know, we're in a bubble, and we're starting to realize there's a lot more than we thought was in the bubble.
Right. I love it, man. I love it. You know what I also love, Rolf? I love having you call back into the show. It's been years and you're back, man. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, I called last week. I know.
I'm saying in general terms, you're calling back again.
Traveling.
I like it a lot. You time traveled 2 years and now you're back. Just like that.
I'm going to come back in another 10.
All right, cool.
Can I tell you about the future?
Yeah, tell me.
Tell you the future?
What happened in the future?
The future looks bright. It's going to look dark for a little bit, and then it's going to get bright again.
Nice.
And then it'll probably go dark, and then it might get bright, and then it's going to go dark. It's just like the wave, man.
The cycles.
The time wave.
The time wave cycles. Awesome. Rolf, you're the best. We got calls behind you. We got to run. Please call back. Continue calling, man. I love hearing from you.
You too, Mike, and thank you, and I will. And I just want to say that we're just living in the ripples of time, brothers and sisters.
Amen. Rolf from New York, you're the best. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great night. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the great call. Simple as that, guys. See, look, that's what I'm saying. You never know. This is why I'm excited to do these shows. Here's my horror. Here's my terror of doing these shows, that I do 3 hours and nobody calls me. That is literally my worst nightmare with this show. Because 3 hours of me rambling on about a bunch of BS, if that doesn't put somebody to sleep, I don't know what will, right? But look what happens. You inject all these amazing thoughts, all these amazing calls, all these amazing ideas about what we're talking about, and suddenly the conversation, which became just one knucklehead trying to get out an idea, it becomes 1,000 ideas. It becomes 10,000 ideas. And that's why I love this. Thank you guys so much for calling and being part of this tonight. Let's go to Jay. Jay in New York. I'm going to give him a sec to unmute because he needs to catch up to the good old duct tape stop in time travel, right? Yeah, exactly. Let's let Jay catch up. Jay in New York, you're up next. What's up? HB says trippy shades. Shades. All right. There we go. Jay is unmuted. Means he's ready. Jay is ready. Let's do it. Jay in New York, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend? Nope. Up and up. Stage fright. Jay, what's up, my man? Can you hear me? Test 1 2.
Yes. Sorry.
You're good. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Technical
difficulty. That's okay.
A pleasure, always.
No,
gosh,
you as well.
Holy smokes, man!
Right? I'm telling you, man. Like I said, I'm terrified every night. Only a little, because I've done it in the past a lot, where I did a whole show and nobody called. But now the terror is more because you guys call and like up the game every freaking night. Holy shit! Right? Blowing my mind tonight. Yeah. Holy smack!
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons why we're so interested in time travel is because of regret. You know, that's why it's such a awesome topic. Is, you know, I want to go back and learn the information that we've lost. You know, that's great. You know, I can't remember who it was that said it about saving JFK. I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Robert.
Everything I would have known in my life would be different.
Yeah, exactly.
JFK would still be president. You know, he would have did his 2 years probably or whatever.
Probably got reelected. Yeah, done. You know, done the. 8
there
years.
probably wouldn't have been fights over politicals that broke up families and stuff like that decades later. You know,
hopefully
might not have went to Vietnam. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, who knows? Maybe his influence after the fact would have stopped a lot of that stuff from happening. Yeah, that's a good point. And I think that's as good as any, right? If you're going to pick like a point in time where things just literally spun off the rails, that moment right there probably did this world a heap and help and a BS. Let's just call it that and leave it at that. But yeah, that's a good shot. So what about you? If you were given one chance to go back in time or forward in time and come back safely, what would you do?
I'm going to be the only guy that goes forward.
Okay.
In the conversation today. I want to be like 10 years after I die and check up on my kids so I can prepare them better.
Nice. You know, I like it. Yeah. Like, again, you know, looking out for other people. That's the good stuff. Like I said, you know, I think given the choices, you know, you could pick something grand or you could pick something so personal it's valuable beyond words. And like I said, you know, to go spend an afternoon with those grandparents that are all passed away now, when one of those moments, one of those afternoons when they were all together, and just be there again, right? Yeah.
Take them the lotto numbers.
Yeah, right? Yeah,
if you go back to see them, make sure you take them the lotto numbers. Yeah, exactly. It'll be a little hiccup, but it might do good for the family.
I like the thinking ahead. Absolutely. Yeah. Take the Biff sports betting book back to the future, back to the past. Yeah, totally.
You know, you're Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
This will do you good at the track.
Yep. Handle
the last 20 years.
Exactly. Make sure you make them sign a contract. You have to share with the family, and then the rest after that, you have to do good deeds with. Make them sign the contract.
Even though I'm only 3 years old, you got to will all that winnings to that kid right there.
Exactly. And or the time cops will come back and they will grind you into toothpaste. There you go.
This is one of the things that I thought when we started talking about that, or we didn't, everybody else was talking about the time cops, is that if you do something when you go back into the past, they'll just kill you before you go if you don't do what you're supposed to do. You know?
Yeah.
They'll be like, hey, man, this dude messed up, man. Well, when we send them in this time, you know, go back 10 minutes before you get in the machine and be like, yeah, buddy, he'll be right there. No problem. Don't worry about it. And just poop him. You know, sorry, you didn't make it. You know,
you didn't make it.
That would be the only. Well, I mean, that would be the only way a time cop thing would kind of work. You know, you'd have to have some like a monitor.
Well, I think you could incarcerate them, right? And then take. Now here we go. Now here's the real mindfuck. So let's say Jay you found the secrets of time travel, and you're running amok, just messing things up, they could incarcerate you and move you into a prison that is out of time.
Oh, you'd be like the guys in the Superman movie back in the 80s.
Exactly, that's the thought I had. In that flat mirror that's just flipping through space. Yes. Yeah.
Waiting for the rock to come by and smash it.
Exactly. Except you wouldn't be able to get away because you'd be removed from time itself. So yeah, right. That's I would think that's how the time cops would work, right? They just come remove you from time, out of time, and yeah.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really think you could probably only go forward.
Yeah,
and I think if you went forward, you wouldn't be able to go back.
That's the Einstein thing. Well, if the time machine came with you, you would be able to go back, but just to the point of when the time machine was invented, you couldn't go back prior. That's the Einstein theory.
I don't think you. I don't think you could make it back to the time machine. I think Einstein's theory is right. You know, acceleration and all that you would get there, but how do you get back? You're not going to decelerate so slow. You know, you'd be 1,000 years old. You know.
Exactly.
It's just I just don't think you could go back. I mean, it would be cool to go back, and you know,
I see.
Like, what was it, Austin's thing about the emerald tablets?
Yeah, that's amazing too. Yeah,
you know, that would be a cool thing to check out. You know, see what they had going on there. You know, there's lots of stuff to think about. I mean, really, but you know, honestly, scientifically, I don't think, you know, forward, yes, backwards, that's going to take some doing. And then you end up in the whole thing that, did we do it now when we turned on the CERN collider? You know, people are always worried about the portal thingy that they get little pictures of, you know, TikTok videos.
The TikTok videos.
I'm not on TikTok either. I see them elsewhere, but
I'm going to confess I do have a TikTok account, but it's because I put up video game shorts. So, but I haven't in a while, so I should probably get back to that, because apparently you could just. I'm just going to fake being a time traveler and let's see what happens. I'm going to blur my face and I'm going to be like, I am from the future. My name is Ashtar of the Galactic Command.
So start it now on your TikTok account, and then like a year from now, do a show on troubled minds.
Exactly.
And you'll bring all those people into the show.
Exactly. Who knows?
You know, we're doing a live show about this tonight.
Exactly. Who knows? Who knows, man? Yeah. Again, like, so many things to consider. The string theory, does it peel off a new timeline? Or, you know, you got to think of it this way. Like, I think it's not unreasonable to expect that, you know, when you say time cop, it sounds stupid, right? It's like, come on, really? But in a reality where a time machine does exist, you would probably have some authority that is looking after the timelines, that is looking after, you know, belligerents that are just messing with time itself. I mean, it makes sense.
If you're the guy that's got the machine, you're doing whatever you want.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well,
you know,
if you got people that
say we make one in my garage right now, and we decide, hey, let's give it a whirl. Let's have a couple, 2-3 beers, and we're going to jump in this thing and turn her on. See how it works. Are we getting vaporized, or are we going back in time?
Right. Yeah.
Then that's all me. You know, there's, you're talking about the guys with a CERN collider or something like that. I mean, obviously that would be a relatively large group of people. But basically, whoever that person is that steps through time, or that group of people that steps through time, it's all on them. No matter what they do, you know,
it's true.
It's going to change everything. I mean, it would.
It's true. So what you were saying is, if you're the one with the time machine, you can kind of do what you want. But so go ahead and run with that. Run with that for a second. I interrupted.
Well, I mean, who's gonna stop you? You know, I mean, honestly, I mean, personally, I'm not going to do it. I'm a carpenter. I wouldn't even know how to start. But, you know, if you were a physics professor or something like that at a university where you had the tools and the things that you needed to start acquiring the pieces and making the pieces and putting them together and everything else like that, you're the guy that turns it on for the first time and you step through it. Dude, you're in charge. I mean, that's all there is to it. You can't. He'll just go back in time and fix it for himself. You know, I really don't think. I mean, the government's going to come and tell you can't do that. They're never going to know what you did. If you go back in time and you save JFK, say, you know, we all get together and decide that that's the best thing that we want to do. We spend money, we build the thing, and go back and save JFK. There's no one in the future that's going to know that we did it.
Right.
Because it's going to be different in their future.
It'll be fixed. Except, okay, now this is the thing, right? So kind of like the Library of Alexandria or like the Akashic Record. Now this is another mind fuck. Check this out. So then let's say once you create a time machine, there has to be a sort of record of what changes. So you have the out of time, like the timeline, and then you have the out of time, very much like I said, the time cops would move you out of time itself. Out of time itself would be a record of all the changes to the timeline as well, right? You would have to have some sort of record keeping, or else, like you said, it would be chaos. It would be just.
So now we're going back into that 4D, 3D dimensional cartoon.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and I mean,
yes, sir.
Well, I mean, that's the only place the only place those people could be, because in our present, where we are now, I mean, really, who's going to stop you? It's going to have to be somebody that's not living in that particular timeline.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they're in that timeline, it's going to change.
Yeah, I think
the wings of a butterfly will cause a hurricane.
Yeah, right. So there's that whole thing again, right? Which version is it? I guess is kind of what we're thinking about and talking about here. Yeah, I don't know, man. The crazy stuff, like all the different ways of thinking about this and doing this. I don't know. Like I don't know where this heads, but I do know that. Well, I don't know, but let's say I have a pretty good idea. We aren't there yet. All right, unless we just hit it, and that's why the world has been so weird the last several years here. But
that's my thought.
Yeah, right. Like maybe. I'm going to give it a solid maybe. And yeah, I don't know, my man. So what else do you got on this before we do the J-Tro? I don't want to cut you off. We got plenty of time for you. As you know, we're big boys.
No, I mean,
grown-ass people. Nobody knows us when to stop. No. I'm just saying. I really
do. I think about all this stuff. I mean, I think it's awesome that, you bring something to the conversation like that, and then it just blows up like that. I mean, HB really put a hurt on my noggin.
So many people put a hurting on the noggin tonight. Lots of good thoughts out there regarding this and the possibilities. Right? That's the possibilities are fantastic. So yeah, let's wrap it up. There you go. HB says don't poet too hard. There you go. Matt says yes, Akashic Records takes a part in this. So maybe, right? Maybe
we could do a show about the Akashic Records.
I already did that a couple weeks back. This too much too fast, Jay. Too much too fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's blowing up the noggin. It's going to be black goo. Like when Kelly calls and talks in, it's going to start running out my ears here in a minute.
Yeah, where has Kelly been? It's been a few shows since he called in. I hope he's all right. Mm. I'll see if he's okay.
He's busy. I'm probably going to miss you a couple. I got to go to a wedding in Ohio.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Just to be polite. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it happens, man. It happens, man. Hey, life happens. You can't shut your life down for troubled minds. The good news is, God willing, we'll just keep on trucking, and we'll be here for you when you get back.
Well, I can hear you on the podcast when I got time. When I'm running around at Ohio.
Absolutely.
But I might miss you live a couple of times.
No sweat, man. No sweat.
But anyway, it's time to go.
Okay. Let me play you some outro music. Wait. Let me play you some music. It sounds a little more regal when you got music. Let's play.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I don't hear them. I don't hear the music.
Oh, you don't hear it? All right. I'm going to do it right now. Go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. When you give yourself permission to communicate what matters to you in every situation, you will have peace despite rejection or disapproval. Putting a voice in your soul helps you let go of negative energy and fear of regret. And that's Shannon Alder, I believe. That's how I would say it. But I don't know. that popped in there, and then it just kind of like kept working its way in.
Nice.
All night long.
Nice.
It's like, just, I don't know. Thanks, Mike, for all you do, really. Thanks for bringing us all together, putting us in there, introducing to other people. You know,
I'm glad
having
you enjoyed
crazy conversations about fun things, you know.
I'm glad you enjoyed. Thank you for appreciating it. Thank you for participating in it. Thank you for bringing great hot fire quotes every night, and you're the best, Jay. Pleasure is mine. Pleasure's mine.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Thanks, everybody, all the people, you know. Join the Discord.
Join the Discord.
Blow our minds up.
There you go. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. If you've not joined the Discord, you're missing out. Lots of smart people. You hear the quality of calls we get on this show? That's because there's a ton of smart people that listen to this show. You should see the chat. The chat's just like the calls, right? Like lots of people kind of just blowing up your brain with amazing things. And join it. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Get your ass in here and come hang out with us. We talk about all this weird stuff all the time. And yeah, let's wrap this sucker up. This is the deal. This is Monday night. We will be back tomorrow night, God willing, 7 p.m. Pacific. And we're going to keep on trucking. We're going to keep on talking about weird stuff. And I know I got a couple ideas for tomorrow. I'm not sure what I feel like. Unless the news does something wacky, then we'll do that. But we'll see. I got a couple good ideas for tomorrow. And for now, we're done. Thanks again, everybody. You know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Listen to the podcasts. Support the show, Patreon, etc., so on. As we finish, we're here with Jay for the J-tro, the outro. And who did I miss? I've been neglecting Facebook. What's up, Sherry? What's up, Ron? Christopher? What's up, guys? Let's see. Some things are just meant to be. I guess so. I guess so. In the chat, we could also cause a pandemic. The time machine. I don't think we need that. All right, here we go. We're out of here. Thanks for listening, guys. As you know, the end goes like this. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.